still hear it more and more.
I can hear both now.
Hey, Jacob, are we live?
We good?
You guys are now live.
Oh
Awesome.
my God. Okay, sweet. Hey, Bryce, how you doing today?
Doing great, man. Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, it's good to have you.
All right.
Gotta adjust this. We have some technical difficulties. Got to fix everything.
Yeah.
Well, what have you been up to projects-wise that I have not been there for?
Working on a short film right now. It's been like on and off, just because of a lot of like school stuff going on.
Yeah.
And then I just finished writing a play that I hope to get produced at ACT this summer. Been talking with Jim Vincent about that.
Okay, cool. What's the play about?
It's
as much as you're willing to talk about.
I can talk about it a little bit, but it's called The Watcher, or How Angels Get Their Wings.
Okay.
And it's about like
It's the end of It's a Wonderful Life. Is that the whole thing?
No, it's not. But a lot of people have said that. It's like the best way I can describe it is have you seen The Good Place? Or
I've seen like parts of it, so I know kind of the premise behind it.
So it's like there's heaven and then there's earth, but there's a middle ground because God's afraid to just like create other angels because the last guy he just made an angel got a little too cocky.
Mhm.
You know that story. It's,
Yeah.
yeah. And so it's just this group of office workers, and they're like working to become angels. Their job is just to observe and report, and that's all. And the better the kids are, the better the chance they have to get into heaven.
Mhm.
And this one guy just gets stuck with like all of the worst kids possible.
Yeah.
And so one day he just has enough and just like yells at this one kid. He's like, "All right, stop." And he's not supposed to do that.
Mhm.
So then the whole play is just basically he coaches the kid so he can get into heaven, so the kid can also get into heaven. And it's like this. It's funny. There's some drama to it. There's like a romance that starts. It could be really
Would
fun.
you describe it as a drama or a comedy?
I think.
What does it fall more under?
I think it falls more under comedy, but
Okay.
I think there is a lot of dramatic undertones to it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't consider it both.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Because the last short film that we're still like in the editing process for.
Black Roses, yeah.
Yeah, when I wrote it, I considered it a dark comedy.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. It's like there are different times, like because we're adding like slowly little things by little things and working on the soundtrack and stuff. And sometimes I watch it, I'm like, oh, this is like definitely a drama with like maybe some funny parts to it.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes I watch it, I'm like, oh, this is obviously a comedy. I'm like, I have no, like it just depends on where all the chips end up falling.
Exactly. Like
It's not, it's its own kind of beast that I'm not in complete control of anymore.
Yeah. When I started writing it, I was like, this is going to be a straight up comedy, no
Mhm.
doubt. And I was like, this is funny. And then I was just writing it some more, and then I was like, but I can't make it too funny. And then I was just like,
right.
I would just add these like monologues, and I was like, crap, this is kind of dramatic. And I was
Yeah.
like, I don't know. But I hope you guys all come out to see it. We're hoping to get it in the summer. There's still some stages and stuff going on, but yeah, so it could be really fun.
Okay, cool. Well, I want to throw in a comment, not to divert attention, but the reason you've been hearing coughing is because Jacob is now our official sound guy. Isn't that right, Jacob?
Hey, everybody.
What's up, dude?
Yeah.
I'm Commander and Space Chief of
Of the popcorn space?
Sound Waves.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Just in general. So you work for like a ton of people.
I had to murder a couple people to work up the ranks, but
Okay.
I eventually got
Maybe you
there.
shouldn't admit that live on YouTube. But no, yeah, the Capri Sun Man is our official sound guy, and we don't have anything to cut to, so we just have to look and hope that people know that you're actually there.
Yes, I can see myself on the camera right now, and it looks like I'm just so dead-eyed, just looking off into the edge.
Oh, you look great.
Guys,
What?
they have me in a basement. I'm in chains.
He's not tied up.
I don't want
Calm down.
Okay, cool. Well, let me get into some of these questions.
Sure thing.
I wanted to ask you how you consider yourself currently. So not like what your ultimate goal is, but would you consider yourself right now more of a writer, a director, or an actor? Or maybe something that I didn't even write down.
Well, that's tough. I consider myself right now more of a writer and an actor,
Mhm.
I guess. My plan is to go to college for acting. So I'm going to be taking the acting track at Hardin Simmons,
Mhm.
where our good friend Trey Smith goes.
Yeah.
But I've just been writing a lot of stuff recently, and like I have these ideas.
Wait, not to interrupt you. So your major will be acting.
Oh, for sure. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've been writing a lot of stuff just recently, just like little ideas, and I'll just jot down. And so I consider myself, I guess, more of a writer. I haven't really directed a lot. Did you hear that?
Yeah. Your chair was rubbing up all against the mic.
My chair against the. I don't have headphones on because we don't have a splitter yet. So
You're just gonna hear sound effects in the background the whole time. Anyways, you were saying about your deep aspirations.
So I really love writing.
That wasn't sarcastic. I was just saying.
No, it's fine. I love writing, and I like just creating these characters. And I would love to direct all of the stuff I write, knowing that's probably not going to happen or in the future. As time goes on.
Well, I mean, it depends on what kind of field you end up going in. I mean, a lot of people, unless you make it big, aren't able to write and direct the same things. But then, if you stay in the indie world, it's a lot easier to have control over what you do.
Yeah.
Of course, it's a lot more expensive.
Of course, I've been loving a lot of indie films recently. I've been watching a lot more, just because I love the style and I like the art. So it's like I loved Room. We watched Room, me and my friend Caleb Queen, the other day, and then Blind Spotting was so good. Have you seen Blind Spotting?
Blind Spotting.
It's so good. It's got David Diggs in it, and he also wrote it.
When did it come out?
It was this year, like this past year, 2018.
I don't even think I've heard of it.
Yeah, no one really talked about it. It's about just like this community of Black people, and just like how it's like integrations coming in, and like how this hipster culture is like entering this like community.
Yeah,
and it's.
I want you to know it's not racist to say Black people.
I know.
I smiled so hard at your little pause.
Like,
you said it's about.
You said Black people.
Black people, and you even closed your eyes a bit.
I just didn't know. I was like, is this okay to say?
Don't say anything awful about it.
Black
Let me
people.
tell you
If you had some like distaste in your mouth and you were like Black people, that would be bad. And don't do that.
I don't want to say something wrong and get ostracized.
No, I know. I just thought it was funny the hesitance that we heard.
There was a movie about Black people.
But yeah, it's Blind
Maybe
Spotting
you were
is
just
so good.
hesitant to give away the spoiler of what the movie was about.
Yes, exactly.
Like Field of Dreams is about
baseball.
Anyways, keep going, Price.
So yeah, and it's like this community just where it's like it's more like in the ghetto, and like all these like hipsters are coming in, like just changing it up,
Right.
and it's just kind of like
Fucking
dealing
hipsters.
with it's dealing with this guy's just it's a Black friend and a white friend, and this white friend is like really ghetto, and he's not really being seen as that, and the Black friend is just he's confused on just like life. I don't want to give too much away because there's a big thing that happens, but it's a really good
What would you
movie.
rate it on a scale of 1 to 10? 10 being, what's your favorite movie?
My favorite movie, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Oh, really?
Jim Carrey.
Okay,
Yeah.
so 10 being that, and 1 being Tommy Wiseau.
But that's it. That's not a bad one. I gotta give it.
What is that then?
It'll probably be like a -3, but
Hot damn.
But it's it's so bad it's good though. That's
Right.
different.
I haven't watched it yet because you're supposed to watch it with people,
Mm-hmm.
and I haven't gotten the opportunity to do that yet. But I've seen The Disaster Artist.
Well, like I would say like The Room is bad, but then like Fan Four Stick is like another kind of that I hate. I hate
That's
Fan
like-
Four Stick.
Man, it's surprising that wasn't made by Sony, because it feels like one of those
no.
generic Sony movies that are
Dude,
like.
did you watch Venom?
Do you not like Venom?
No, I don't like
Oh
Venom.
no!
I thought Venom was funny. Didn't we
thought-
talk about
we
it?
talked about how
Listen,
we love
I
Venom.
thought Venom was funny,
Yeah,
and I thought Tom Hardy was fantastic.
yeah.
But it just felt like what you just said.
There are
like
a lot of
generic-
problems with it. I
it
give you
was a
that. There are a lot of
generic
problems with
Sony
it.
Movie. It was so bad.
Yeah, but there were a lot of aspects to it that I think if they just were able to. Okay, so I'll probably make a whole video about it later. But my first rewrite for Venom would be
Put Spider-Man in there. That's my first
no.
rewrite.
Well, I mean, yeah, but without that. So obviously they couldn't do that right now. But with what they had, here's my first rewrite for it, which is there's like 20 or 30 minutes, and then it goes 6 months later.
Oh, I know. And then the
Okay.
Mormons still got the Venom in
Right.
there, and I'm like, why?
I would start the movie at 6 months later. So
Mhm.
at that cut, that's where the movie begins. Because everything that happens in the first part, we
boring.
get and is explained later. Like he goes to, that's not huge spoilers, it's Venom, but
Yeah, it's
he
bad.
goes to his ex-girlfriend's house or whatever. It shows up and he's like, I miss you. And then you see the guy get out of the car. That's all like perfect storytelling. And if we didn't see that they were together before, we would have gotten that. And it would make us more curious because we'd be like, what happened? What's going on? Why aren't they together anymore?
Yeah, and I'll admit, like, this is the first movie I've seen in a while where I'm like, the middle is my favorite part. Like,
Yeah.
the beginning was so boring, and I'm like, we've seen
It's
this.
just so long.
We've seen this in a million other
It's like
movies.
40 minutes before
and then
Venom
the
comes out.
end is just super cheesy, and it's all like he's dead, and then he's like, no, I'm not dead, I'm Venom. And then I'm like, it's like, of course they're not gonna kill him off. And then but like the middle was so fun. It was like fun watching Tom Hardy play off of himself. So yeah, if I was rating to go back to Blind Spot, if I was rating it, I'd probably give it like about an 85, probably out of 100, 8 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah. So
like the scale is 1 to
85.
10. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay, so an 8.5.
Yeah, 8.5. It's
Okay.
really good.
And you give Venom a what?
If I was giving I would give Venom a solid 6.0. So
Oh,
6.
really? That high?
Give it a solid 6 because Tom Hardy's.
You
good
sounded like you really didn't like it at first.
Well, I consider 6 like it's like grades, you know. It's like so like a 10 or like a 1 is a 10.
Right, so it still failed.
2, yeah, so he failed. Yeah, oh yeah, he failed badly, but it was like, you know what? You have enough charm. You got Tom
You're
Hardy.
like almost there.
Yeah,
Wait, 1 is good?
1 is bad.
1
1 is
is
like a 10.
1 is
One is
okay.
bad. 10 is the best.
Okay.
Because 10 is the highest number.
Yeah.
It's not like a top 10 list. It's the opposite of
On
that.
number
Exactly.
6, Venom.
Right.
What?
Man, I was just thinking, wouldn't it be great if they just brought back radio shows like how they used to have? I don't know if they ever had Twilight Zone episodes on the radio, but they had stuff like that. Yeah,
It was like a lot of Twilight Zone episodes were based on previous radio plays,
It would
like
be-
The Hitchhiker.
it'd be great if they had like new movies like that, like Venom, the
Okay,
radio.
so-
Dude, we should do that. We should start
Do it
doing
right
that.
now. It's like something's going on in my head, man. I'm totally from New York, and he's like, no, you're not. He's like,
Okay, here's the thing. When I heard that Tom Hardy was going to be cast,
yeah.
I like remember where I was. I was in Spanish class.
I remember the day because I was like, dude, did you hear Tom Hardy's getting cast?
I know,
You were
and I
like,
was super
yeah.
excited about it. And I was like, Tom Hardy seems like the perfect guy to play Venom. He's
exactly.
like, I remembered him being Bane. He's like this huge guy or whatever. And then I saw Venom. I was like, this is the smallest I've ever seen Tom Hardy ever.
Yeah.
He's like a thin guy.
Yeah.
He looks like tiny.
I was kind of disappointed about that too. I was like, dude, you're not even like he didn't even have his shirt off or anything.
But it
I
didn't
was
make
like,
any sense.
no one knows that you're buff under there, man.
There's no reason to like get Tom Hardy if you're just gonna Tom Hardy-ify him.
Well, it could have been Topher Grace. It's all calm
You
down.
know what? I didn't hate Topher Grace.
Neither did I. I didn't hate Topher Grace either. I don't see why people give him such a hard time. He did the best with what he was given.
People are a hater of Spider-Man 3. And what? Okay, so
I like Spider-Man 3.
I like it too, but there's no denying when you watch, because I dated someone in high school who hadn't seen any of the Spider-Man movies, so we watched them all together. And so I watched Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3 in 3 weeks or something like that.
Yeah.
And watching them back to back to back, I remember I prefaced Spider-Man 2 saying, I just want you to know, a lot of people think it's the greatest superhero movie ever made. And then we went to Spider-Man 3 and I said,
I want you to
want
know.
you to know,
a lot of people think it's the worst superhero movie ever made. I love Spider-Man 2 is so good. And then as a kid, I watched Spider-Man 3 a lot and I loved it. It was a big favorite. I loved it so much and I grew up this is the best movie ever. And then as I started getting older, I figured out more people hated it. I was like, how can you hate it? And then I rewatched it and I was like, oh, that's how.
Yeah, I can't get hating it, but yeah, I see. There's an obvious difference when you watch them back to back. But there's still a lot to take from Spider-Man 3. It's just the studio is interfering too much, but Sam Raimi's still good enough that he was able to pull something out of it. What do you think, Jacob?
See, when it comes to Spider-Man 3,
yeah,
it's just such a funny movie.
Exactly. It's the best superhero comedy ever made.
Oh, really?
Has there ever been a comic book movie that has been more iconic than the scene where he's
the
shooting
emo
finger guns,
the emo Saturday Night Fever stride?
Put it into they put it into somewhere I can't remember, but it was like a nice throwback in the
into the Spider-Verse. He was
Yeah.
I also did this.
yeah.
Why don't we talk about this?
That's a great movie. How did you feel about Into the Spider-Verse?
Oh, I love Into the Spider-Verse.
Dude, that's
so
11 out of 10 for me. That was the
that
best
might be
movie
my
ever.
favorite one.
Yeah, it was a good. Oh, it was so good.
It was such a cool twist on
I
the
couldn't
Peter Parker thing.
I couldn't decide if it was my favorite Spider-Man movie yet, and I'm still having a hard time. I need to watch it again.
It's hard, but it's hard because it's new and it feels like you can't betray what you grew up with.
I love Spider-Man 2 and even Homecoming. I know you're not a big Homecoming fan.
I'm not against Homecoming. I think it's a fine movie. I just don't think it's a good Spider-Man movie.
I love
and
Homecoming.
that's not even my own opinion. That's me repeating what I've heard.
I love Homecoming. But I was like Spider-Man 2, number 1.
Yeah.
I love you. And then And then Into the Spider-Verse comes along, and I was like, I gotta
Yeah.
choose. I can't pick one now. It's tough.
It's a freaking good movie, man.
I want my stepdad to watch it. I keep telling him, I was like, you gotta watch Into the Spider-Verse. He
Have
goes,
you
"But isn't it
seen-
a cartoon?" I'm like, does it matter?
Have you seen Scott Pilgrim versus the World?
Yes, I have.
Okay, so until Into the Spider-Verse, as far as the movies that I've seen, that's
The
like
style.
the closest comic to movie adaptation ever. And then
for
Into the
sure.
Spider-Verse came out, and it was like, oh, okay, now this is literally a moving comic book.
Well, like, did you see Hulk, Ang Lee's Hulk, like from 2003
Yes, with
with Eric Bana?
Bana.
They tried to do that.
Make
then
it like a comic book?
It didn't work at all.
I
It's
can't
like,
remember that.
You have to go back and watch it, but like they have all these weird transitions where
Yeah.
it's like panels, and they do all these weird panel movements.
Oh, I feel like
And like
maybe I
there's a
remember
scene
that.
where a guy dies like in fire, and he goes and then they just freeze, and then he becomes like a sticker, and then the fire just like goes over the sticker,
oh
and
my
it's
God.
like it's so weird.
We gotta rewatch that.
It's a-
No, yeah, I remember what the Hulk
Yeah,
looks
yeah,
like.
I just-
that's it.
I just pulled it up on the computer, gave him a little preview.
Right.
He was
He was very green, like ripe, man.
yeah. Ang Lee did a job on that movie. He's a good director.
Nothing
Nothing
is a
against that.
bright green.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. Okay, so I still haven't seen him forever, but I don't remember the CGI on the Hulk himself looking that bad.
Well, it
Was it
wasn't
very bad?
it's bad to today's standards, but like if
Yeah.
you look back at like 2003, like I mean, it was average.
Well, you watched Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3,
Yeah.
and like you don't even think about the CGI, and it's funny because I was going back and watching that and being like, oh my God, this was in 2002. That looked fantastic.
Exactly.
That's crazy how good it was. CGI is something. Let's talk about that for a second.
I'm good with it.
CGI is something that people hate on way too much because people don't understand it.
Exactly.
Because the only CGI that people see is bad CGI when it's noticeable.
Mm-hmm.
And someone comment, Jacob?
Yes, I was trying to interrupt. We have our first comment
Oh,
of
yeah?
the day. As Barrett Robertson, he said yee yee.
Okay.
I don't know if that's yee yee to the
I saw it
whole
pop up when we were
CGI.
talking about Spider-Man 3, so I imagine
Oh, okay.
imagine that's what it was. We were talking about the emo walk.
All right.
Um,
I think like the best CGI I've seen in a while was the environment in Jon Favreau's Jungle Book movie.
I haven't seen it.
It's a good movie. It's really good. I think it's the best Disney remake they've done.
I've heard that it is the best one, but I also think they need to stop.
They do need to stop. What did they do to Will Smith? That was
yeah,
terrible.
it's just like, well, it looks like it's gonna be fine. I guess it's a good story. We already know that, but
Exactly.
it's like the movies from before still hold up. There's no reason to make them realistic. It's weird.
That's my big problem with Beauty and the Beast, because like when they did that, I had so many like friends around me that were like, Beauty and the Beast is amazing, you gotta go watch it. And I was like, okay, sure. And then I watched it and I was like, this is the exact, like nothing was wrong with it. I thought
yeah, it was either the same or
was-
slightly worse than the original. That's it.
it was the exact same, and they just reshot everything live action. And I was like, why would I want to watch this when I could watch the original, which
You know
has
what
great artwork?
You know what
and
I thought
better
was
singing.
funny? Because they made the guy's name was LeFou, right?
Yeah,
They made him gay in the new one.
yeah, and like, okay, can we talk about that for? They did not. Okay, he danced with a guy at the end, and he looks at him and goes, and everyone freaked out. They were like, he's gay. Don't watch the movie. He's gay. And I
Well,
was like,
I think it's because
okay.
the people made a big deal about
Yeah.
it. But I thought it was funny because I heard that he was gay and I'd kind of forgotten about it, slipped in the back of my mind.
it's like, yeah,
And then I was watching it in the theater, or I was at the drive-in actually, and I remember seeing him show up for the first time, and he's so like, they did not try even for a
didn't hide
second
that at
to make
all.
him normal. He just like, or like subtle is what I mean. But
Uh-huh.
he's just so obviously like Gaston was like,
you think that'd be more offensive than just like,
oh, I don't know that it
dancing
was.
with a guy.
I don't understand why anybody was offended by it. I just thought it was funny how like overboard they went with it,
Like, no, yeah, he would just look at Gaston and be like,
because I was like, oh yeah, this is what's happening.
mm-hmm. It was the same with like, did you watch the Power
I
Rangers
don't know
reboot?
that improved or made the story
It's
any different.
it didn't. Did
And
you
so-
watch the?
I don't know that it was worth a whole remake. Sorry,
Did you watch the Power Rangers remake?
no, but I know that you like it, right?
I'm a Power Rangers fan,
Oh,
much
yeah?
like you are with Spider-Man.
Right.
But they
You
did,
are a Power Rangers fan to the point that I am with Spider-Man.
exactly.
Is your room decked out with Power Rangers? Because I would love to see
Okay,
that.
I'm not that big, but I have a bunch of comics. And
I didn't mean to challenge you. I was just actually curious to
But
see this.
I have all this knowledge, and when the remake
Step
came
up,
out,
Bryce. Where's your comic book? Where's the action figures?
oh my
Put your
god!
dukes up.
So when the remake came out, they made this big deal to make like the Yellow Ranger gay, and it was like a big Like
I heard about that.
in the new movie.
Yeah, everyone freaked out about it, and it was also a big deal because it was the first openly gay superhero in a movie, in a live action big budget movie. No one knew that.
They went through with it. He was.
Yeah,
really.
she was. Yeah, they went.
Or she was.
Yes. It was a but like before the movie came out, like it was everywhere. They're like big deal, and like it's literally one scene in the movie where she doesn't even say it. She's just sitting at the campfire, and they're like, "You got any boyfriend troubles?" And she's all like, they're like, girlfriend troubles? And she goes, my parents just don't understand me. And then it's like, what? Yeah, it's like.
Yeah, I feel like it's a weird line that they have to toe because I talked about this with James Graham when he was on the podcast because we were talking about Black Panther.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that it's a big deal because it now shows the studios that a completely black-led movie can be a blockbuster and make millions and millions of dollars. And yeah, there has been a lot of black-led movies, but I guess because
I thought like Get Out did that though, because like Get Out.
I don't think Get Out made near the money Black Panther did.
Yeah, but Get Out was like it made so much compared to its budget, and it was like also for like a horror movie, like that was a big deal, like all the money it made. So.
Well, the thing is that we forget about Hollywood because a lot of California is like so left and liberal and SJW, and they all want to be inclusive and everything, but Hollywood themselves, the people making the movies, want to get their money back. Exactly. And so even if people are racist and they're not cool with that, they're like, well, we still need to make money if these racists aren't going to pay for our tickets. And you're like, oh crap, like you forget about that Hollywood's super sleazy.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it is good that they're doing those kind of things and trying to like slowly ease into that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure it's like a scary gamble for them, so, you say they only had one line in it, but I bet they're scared, because they go too far and people are going to get mad and they're going to lose a ton of money.
Yeah.
And, that's like, they got millions of dollars on the line.
Exactly.
It's just weird to think about the position they're in, but it is good that they're, as opposed to some of their Hollywood counterparts, actually trying to do something about it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Trying to be more inclusive.
You got any other questions right here on this thing?
Oh, dude, I have a whole 3 other questions. Well, normally we just kind of go off about anything. I said new play. We already talked about that. Okay, so what is your what philosophy do you have behind writing? What is writing to you, and what is it for other people?
Well, okay, writing has changed. It's morphed with me a lot. Throughout all of it, because you were there when I wrote my first screenplay,
which was
sophomore year.
John Montgomery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still love that character.
I
have a very big fondness for him because I created him when I was about 13, and it was honestly just like
they're like our kids, man.
Exactly.
We create them and like we develop them and understand them and have spent so much time with them.
I still want to do something with them, but like that.
I know, seriously.
It's such a weird comparison to think.
No,
when you haven't done that, I'm looking at them like, we created this thing.
Well, it is weird.
Grown up.
No, I get how it sounds weird. It is weird, but it's like when people like talk shit about your screenplay, like it hurts. It feels like they're calling your kids ugly.
Yeah.
You're like, shit, man.
I don't have ugly kids.
I know. You're like, back off. And it's like, hey, I'm just giving you constructive criticism. It's like, no, you're calling my kid ugly. That's my kid.
So your kid is so ugly. I do not want to watch this game.
Yeah, seriously.
So John Montgomery is a script that I still want to do. It just needs a lot more. I need to figure out a final thing, and I want to do something.
Yeah, something you want to come back to later.
Exactly. But like when I was just dishing it out, I was like, at the time, you had written that musical, Love Hour, and Jess Westman had just made his short film, Man Boy, which you cannot find anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's not on YouTube anymore?
Nah. He privatized it, I think. But like, so I was like, man, I really want to do something. I'm creative. I was like, so I took my best idea, I think, still one of my best ideas to this day, and I just like wrote a half-ass script, like 15 pages long. I was like, I'm making a short film. Let's do it. Yeah. And I'm very happy that did not come to fruition.
Which was that?
The short film. I'm happy it did not get made.
John Montgomery was the one that you just put out.
I just kind of like
just because everyone was writing something and you were like, I gotta get something out there.
And because I went back and read it the other day, because I still have like a little copy of it, and I was reading it and I was like, you could do so much better with these characters.
I think it's funny how we forget, or at least for me, I forget how bad something was.
Yeah.
Because I during the Love Hour, I was talking so fondly of the short film I had written freshman year. And I remember I went back and read it with, I think, Trey or someone. and I was like, oh yeah, this wasn't nearly as good as I thought it was. And then whoever it was, Trey or someone said, yeah, it's never again. I was like, hey man, it's my kid.
And so yeah, it never got made. And then I wrote another screenplay last year, which you remember, Without Water, also didn't get made.
Right.
But that one was
I wasn't in it, so I never got to read it.
Yeah, exactly. So that one, I was kind of like, I was at a point where I was like, you know what, I can finally do this.
Yeah.
And I did get it cast, and we had everyone there, and everyone was kind of game to shoot it. Like it was a pretty big deal. In the script, it was kind of just based on a bunch of Mel Brooks comedies, and it was like super just like lame and dumb, and there was like a lot of dumb stuff just kind of going on. And I really liked the script. But then I just like, the more I kept reading it, I was like, I don't really want to be associated with it. Like it was not like John Montgomery, where it was like, I want to be associated with it, I just know I can do better. This was when I was like, I did a good job, but I was like, it doesn't feel like me. It just feels like I was writing some comedy. So then we go to summer. And that's when my like writing philosophy just kind of like morphed, and I was like, what do I want to tell? Like, what's a story I actually feel compelled to tell?
Yeah.
And I was like, for me, like personally, I've never really been in a relationship. So I was like, and I always loved these teenage like romance movies, like old John Hughes kind of style. So I started looking at like all these things, and I just started like jotting down ideas. And I was like, we could have like a high school movie. And I watched The Edge of 17 with Haley Steinfeld.
Yeah.
That really helped. I was like, ooh, this is really good. So I'm like jotting down these ideas.
I haven't seen that yet, but she is very good.
Oh, she's fantastic.
In everything I've seen.
Of course.
She's Gwen Stacy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gwanda.
right.
And so I was like jotting down all these ideas, and I was like, all I could think of was like this girl named Daisy, which I think you see where this is going. If you haven't seen my short film Daisy, go watch it.
Where can we watch it at?
You can watch it on my YouTube channel at Silent Dove Entertainment, or you can go to my YouTube.
Is it youtube.com/Silent Dove Entertainment?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
And if you
seriously go watch it, it's literally fantastic. I watched it for the first time actually in this building, because I used to work at Ripple of Light, which was over there. And on my break I watched, because it's like what, 5 minutes or something.
It's about 4 minutes long, not that bad.
I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know if it was gonna be good or bad, and I just checked it out, and man, I had like a little moment with it. I was like, oh my God. And it was weird because, you know, I knew these people from high school, but they didn't feel like who they were to me. They just felt like these characters in this fantasy that suddenly became like something I could totally like identify with.
Well, thank you. I'm happy you enjoyed it. It was the process to making it was super interesting. So like I said, I was just kind of just jotting down these ideas, and I just kept I was like high school characters, and I couldn't come up with the guy's name at all. I was like, this is hard, because like, why is the guy so hard?
What's happening?
What's up?
Bryce, could you move your mic a little closer to your face?
Yes, I'm so
There you
sorry.
go.
Is that bad?
Someone comment?
No, just the recording. Really small.
Gotcha.
Oh. Mark Stimler. That's a guy I know from school. His name is Connor. Yee.
What?
Mark Stimler's name is Connor?
Yeah, we used to call him Connor in school.
Why?
He has... I don't know. I really don't know.
So I just realized why I haven't been drinking soda on the
keep
podcast.
it up, boys, as well.
I'm having to like burp like silently over here.
Yeah, that's why I waited till after.
Burping's so gross. Isn't that weird?
I'm like,
it's
what?
weird that it's become gross because it's such a normal bodily function.
Exactly.
And somehow some dick along the way was like, that's disgusting. And now forever we can't do it in public.
It was like, I was watching this video, and it was like, when you sneeze, everyone's like, bless you. But when you like burp or like you pass
like,
gas,
you're sick.
It's like, you're disgusting. It's like, what? Why don't you bless them too? It's like, I'm going to go back. What was I talking about? Daisy? It was.
Hold on. I'm going to interrupt you real quick. We got another comment from Mark.
Ooh.
He said, keep it up, boys. And he said, because it's not Connor, he said, my school account did this to my phone, so I'm logged into my school account. Thank you very much. We appreciate the support.
Thank you.
Awesome.
We were really like dying on the edge of our seats.
Oh man,
I didn't mean to be a dick about it. I probably sound like a dick.
No.
How dicky did I sound on a scale of 1 to 10? 10 being
like 3,
complete genitalia, and 1 being like
number 6. That's where
paper.
you are on the big scale.
number 6.
Venom number 6. So yeah, so I started just writing down stuff, I guess, and I kept writing down the name Daisy. I was like, I like this name Daisy. I was like, I don't know.
Do you know anybody named Daisy?
No, it was just this
Pretty
name.
name.
And I was like, Daisy, that's really sweet. And so I was just writing, and I started writing a short film with words Daisy's a silent movie.
Right.
And I was writing it, and I told my brother about it. And I was like, it's this really sweet movie. And he goes, that sounds dumb. Like, what's the point? And I was like, yeah, you're right. And then I stopped writing it for about 3 weeks. And I just like stopped writing it all together. And I was like, this is just dumb. And then I watched, I was talking about Mel Brooks earlier. I watched a bunch of Mel Brooks movies, and completely underrated movie, silent movie, really funny. And I was like, I fell in love with it. And I was like, just sitting in bed watching, and I was laughing. And I was like, I got an idea. So I was
silent movie? A Mel
that's
Brooks
what it's called. It's called Silent Movie, and it was the first silent movie made like in 40 years.
Okay.
And it's this movie from the 1970s about what it's basically about. It's these 3 guys. They're like, we're gonna make the next big silent movie, and the studio's like, no, that's stupid. And they're like, what if we get the big stars in it? And it's like actual big stars.
But it is a silent movie?
Yes, and it's really funny.
Dude, have you seen The Artist?
I haven't. I really wanted to.
That was my first movie of the year, and it was so good.
I was like, this is probably gonna help me make my movie, but I just never watched it. And I was like, I gotta watch The Artist.
I want to talk about it, but there's so many little things that you just need to watch to appreciate.
Really?
Because like, I'm not even gonna. You just need to watch it. I trust that you'll watch it.
I will watch it when I get home. I promise. Oh,
today.
So yeah, and then I just saw that, and I was like, maybe I don't do a short film. Maybe I just write like a little like YouTube sketch.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, and it was just gonna be me, and I was gonna have like my brother film it or something. And it was gonna be me getting ready to go to like school, and then I get a text from a girl, and it's like, hey, want to go out? I'm like, yeah. And then I got ready, walk out the door, and then I'd get a text, psych, and I'd be like, dang it. And then I walked away.
Right.
And
such a heartbreaking story.
Well,
Dude,
it was
beautiful.
Yeah,
I understand the concept.
Hey, Jacob, throw me those Girl Scout cookies, by the way,
Okay,
unless you've devoured them.
So it was like just like this little thing, and then the more I kept writing it, I was just writing sort of like directions. There was no like dialogue. Sorry, it's just funny. Your mouth.
That's good.
So then I told Kira Tanner, our friend, about it first, and I was like, I'm trying to figure this film out. She goes, can I be in it? And I was like, well, it's kind of supposed to be me. And I was like, you know what? It probably would be better to have like see the girl. And I was like, I could do that. And I was like, sure. And I was
So
like,
initially you wouldn't see Daisy.
yes, it wasn't going to be, it would just be like her on the phone. And so I was like, you know what, that could actually work out. And then I was like, yeah. And then I started, developing it into a film again. And then our friend Caleb Queen heard about it, and he was like, hey, you making a movie? And I was like,
wonderful
yes.
impression.
And I was like, yeah, man. And I was like, it's kind of just supposed to be me and Kira. He goes, can I be in it? And I was like, Caleb, I would love for you to be a part of it, like anyway. And I was just like, I just don't know. And so then Caleb kind of came in. He was going to help me with music for it, which he wrote the music for that movie.
Right.
Really great.
It reminds me of
a lot of lo-fi.
Napoleon Dynamite, the White Stripes. That's what it reminds me of.
Yeah, he did some really great stuff with it, and I really enjoyed it. And
just like simple, like nice.
It was that's kind of what I wanted to feel, was just kind of like this. It feels nice to be in this world. And so he was like, just help me with music. And then when he kind of came on board, I kind of just strapped the comedy from it.
Yeah.
And started focusing more on like the heart and the emotion in it. I was like, this is actually kind of sweet. And I was like, let's do this. And Caleb came on, and I didn't really have a lot of stuff for the guy character, because he was just sort of like this faceless thing. And it was the girl that was really going to bring the story to fruition. And I was like, Caleb, I just want you to like craft something here. And I was like, I'll let you kind of have free reign with that. And so Caleb did a lot of his own stuff with his character, and we came up with this really great thing where like music is kind of what brings the story together. It's like that he loves music, and when he's in his, spoiler alert, have you not seen the film? So spoiler alert. When he's in his,
well, if you haven't seen the film, pause this, go watch it. It's 5 minutes long.
Yes, go watch it. So when he's in like his dream sequence scene, it's like all this music around and things are brighter because he's outside, the colors. And so yeah, it was of course there's no color in the movie, but we had
the colors, black, white, gray.
We had them wearing yellow, and I wanted to see if there was a way I could like pop the yellow off of the black and white. But because of my limited,
like Schindler's List with yellow.
Yeah, because of my limited knowledge, I could not do that. So I was like, I think it's nice in black and white. And then we got it made, and I was really I was happy about it. And I think it turned out really well. It was the first thing first short film I've ever gotten to actually do. And it was a nice thing. It was just the whole story to how it got made. It was just so interesting. And then it was cool. And I think that just that fueled my writing. And then it was that film that told me, I was like, you need to have heart behind everything you write and
Yeah.
just try and develop it from something personal, but also something that's new and something that
Right.
people really haven't seen. So,
Well, the thing I think people are so scared to do anything now.
exactly.
I think the thing that's important to take from that story is that you wouldn't have gotten to Daisy if it weren't for John Montgomery and Without Water.
Exactly.
Yeah, Jordan Peterson has this whole thing where he talks about he's like, just do something. So like he does this self-authoring program where you can do it and it like teaches you how to write and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people telling him like, I bought it a few months ago and I haven't been able to use it because I know it won't be any good and I'm just scared to start it. And he goes, well, then just start it. Like, yeah, it probably won't be any good.
Exactly.
But at least you'll have something. It's like, because if someone put a gun to your head and said, write a 10-page paper or
It's
I'm
probably
gonna
not
kill
gonna be
you.
good.
Yeah. or, or I'm gonna kill you. Like, you would do it. Like, it might not be very good, but you could do it. You would do it. And then you would have something that you could work from.
Mm-hmm.
And then like you would keep getting better and be able to improve and have some kind of
a foreground
structure to look at. And so it's really important. Like how I used to make videos on YouTube, like in 6th and 7th grade, is I would come up with a basic idea, and then just grab my camera and just kind of start making it up as I went along. So it was never planned out dialogue. I literally just went as I went. And I think it was like 7th grade when I was just done doing that, and I really wanted to create something big.
Mm-hmm.
And my first thought was, I'm not a writer. I can't write.
I've thought the same thing. I was like, I don't write. It's
right. So I tried to talk to different people who I thought could write and said, you should help me. We should create something and then I'll direct it.
I did the same thing with you. I was like, we should write something together and then I'll make it and then we can do it. I did that same. I remember.
Right. But it's very important to start writing yourself, you know? And so I started writing all like these little sketches, and I wrote this whole series called The Rolling Duck that never came to fruition. But I went back and looked at some of the scripts. They're not bad. I mean, they're bad, but they're kind of funny. And it was just basically this slow. So I had this character named Phyllis.
Yes, I remember Phyllis.
He had this dialect that I had perfected over time.
Yeah. Can you do? Can
I do Phyllis?
Yeah.
I hate it.
Can you leave and Phyllis enters the room?
My jaw cocks to the side when I do Phyllis.
Do it.
I can't control it. Do it.
He kind of sounds like this, and he talks like.
I know all about Felix.
Yeah, he talks like this.
See, this is
I feel like it definitely sounds completely different than me. Like if I was doing it for a cartoon voice, you couldn't tell that it was me, right?
Wouldn't you think that it sounds different?
I hate doing it.
Yeah, you making a different voice sounds different.
I knew it sounds weird.
It does sound weird, but you got it. It's really cute.
Okay, now we're 3-year-olds playing in a sandbox, making each other laugh.
What a wonderful little podcast.
What are you gonna do?
Take Bryce, do you want one?
Yes, I do.
Okay, take these away. I'm sorry I even asked. Sorry.
Hey, whoa! I want some more of those.
Oh, Bryce wants more. Okay. Anyways, but what's important? What's important is to keep writing. So I wrote. Basically, The Rolling Duck was about. Ultimately, it was about the death of Phyllis, because Phyllis was like, I guess he represented my immaturity and my undisciplined creativity, and I was going into more disciplined creativity. And so the first sketch was with Phyllis, and it was called The Interview, and it showed like basically his incompetence and how like dumb he is.
Oh wow!
And then
you just said it.
Yeah, and then there's like 4 or 5 random sketches that didn't involve me or Phyllis, just people that weren't even me, and I wasn't even in them, and I'd never done videos that I wasn't in because I didn't have enough actors. It was normally Phyllis was created because I didn't have enough people, so it'd be me and then me with a weird voice. But then I'd have some with different actors, and then the mid-season episode was called what was it called, like the Confession or something, and it was me. Like I got up in the morning, got ready, I'm like, I can do this, and then I sit Phyllis down and I basically try to explain to him that he's not real.
Oh, that's cool.
And he won't take it, and I'm like, you're a part of my imagination. He's like, I'm not. I'm like, you look exactly like me, your voice is fake. Like I explained the whole thing to him, and he's like, I don't know. And it was just it was supposed to seem kind of like a silly sketch or whatever. And then at the end he leaves and he's denying it. And I'm like, okay, like I'll try again sometime later. And then
the season finale.
Then there's more episodes that are just random, don't involve us at all. And then the season finale, I don't remember what it was called, but it was something where it involved Phyllis a lot. And finally in the end, he started to talk to me about not being real. and I got him to
really
understand
philosophical.
it. I know, it was
and
really
well done.
sad. It was philosophical, but he was sitting on one end of the table and I was sitting on the other. And I remember it was like, I explained it to him, and he like finally came to accept it. And he was like, I guess I understand. It was a shot of him saying that. And then it was a shot of me like looking down, not knowing what to say. And then it was a shot of where he was from over my shoulder. And it was not there anymore.
So like Jerry's game, just like straight.
What's Jerry's game?
You know the Pixar short where he's playing chess with himself?
Oh, yeah.
So it's like,
yeah.
it's just like, and then he just switches it around and it's like,
yeah. It's something like that. So it's funny because it's like you see him realize it and then all of a sudden he's gone. And that was my, like, it was kind of a sad, bittersweet ending to the Rolling Duck, but that was like supposed to be my transition into bigger and more serious projects and disciplining myself to write a script.
Yeah.
And I have the scripts somewhere, everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I have all of them somewhere.
I have my script
everywhere. Like there and there. No, but and then after that I started writing short films.
Yeah.
And my musical was totally random. It was because me and Chad Kennedy went to go see the Beach Boys because they played here.
That's right. Yeah.
We went during spring break, and I remember we were talking about it, and I was like, we should write him. I was asking him what he like when we got together before we went to the concert. I was asking him like what he'd been doing. And he was like, well, I just got a book in today. And I was like, what's the book? And he's like, it's called How to Write a Musical or whatever. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then
you read it.
Then we watched the Beach Boys, and I was like, we should write a musical with only Beach Boys songs. That'd be great. And that's how I pitched it. And then I kept talking. I was like, we should write a musical. That'd be so much fun. He kind of talked to me about it. And I was like, yeah. So the very next day I came up to him and I had a list of characters and like the plot behind it. And he was like, I thought you were kidding. And I was like, no, I'm ready to go. And I just pulled that a little bit closer to your face. But
I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. Everybody does. Everybody like, I start to feel like people are purposefully denying me.
Yes,
I'm like, keep it closer. And they're like,
yes.
No, I know what you're saying. No, but that's how the musical. I love musicals, but I never envisioned myself writing one, and I don't know that I ever will again.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, but it was just kind of a I don't know, spontaneous thing, and I got really excited. And then once I've created the characters, I really cared about them, and I just wanted to finish it. I wanted to see it through. And that was the first big project that I saw all the way through.
Yeah.
And it was really cool and really rewarding to finish out and be able to see on a stage, because that was the first time that I'd finished something that I wasn't an actor in. So it was all these other random people that cared enough to be a part of this to make up my cast. And it was cool because I could just sit back and watch it.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's what I felt like with Daisy. Like, I even tried to write a musical last year with Caleb Quinn. And I started that. It was called I can't remember what it was called, honestly.
What was it about?
It was about this struggling actor who he is struggling, and like he has to go back to his high school reunion.
Struggling actor.
He's struggling.
He's struggling.
The only thing he's known for is this orange juice commercial that he did so well in, and they keep wanting to pay him more to come back, but he doesn't want to be known.
Sorry, I'm just checking the viewers every now and again.
He doesn't want to be known for just an orange juice commercial. So like he's like, that's below me, and he's got to go back to his high school reunion.
Yeah.
So he goes back to his high school reunion, and then this janitor who's like, it's kind of like 17 again. He's like, takes him back to high school, but he has to perform all of his shows again.
Yeah.
That he wasn't in high school. So it's like we would have 4 different like contrasting musicals throughout all 4 years. Like his freshman year, we would do like a funny little musical and then like something serious, and they were all gonna be kind of like parodies of each other.
Yeah.
And it would be like, here's what you're missing out. That's what you loved. And we wrote one song for it. It was called Miles Ahead because his name was Miles.
Yeah.
And it was really, Caleb did a good job with the song. We were writing it together. And then like, I was like, I just don't think this is, I just fell out of love with the story. Mm-hmm. I was like, I liked it. And then I was like, there's just nothing driving me towards it. So we just kind of like put that on hold. And now actually we're writing another play this year. We're working on this one called, it was his idea. I'm going to plug this in.
This is another play besides the Angels Get Their Wings.
Besides The Watcher, this is one we're just kind of in development in right now. Mm-hmm. It's called She Paints by Day. I'm not going to go into too much detail with it.
It's a nice title.
Yeah, I can't go into too much detail with it because we are still like very much developing.
Right.
But so we're working on something like that right now, and yeah, it could be cool.
Okay, cool. I do want to You've seen Baby Driver, right?
Of course, I've seen Baby Driver.
Dude, you know how great that movie is, but the one thing I hate about it is that his name is Miles.
Yeah, it's like your name is Miles. I
That's
was
the
like,
worst.
what? Like driving.
I feel like it ruins it though, because the whole thing is that he's not attached to the car, and that's not who he is. And so what I would have done is I would have had when they were talking about the names and everything, in like, her name was Deborah, and they were talking about songs with Deborah, and his name.
We got another comment from Connor. He said, "Baby Driver is my favorite movie," and I've actually never seen Baby Driver.
You've never seen Baby Driver? Oh, it's
you're
Edgar
missing
Wright.
out.
It's like Kevin Spacey's last movie before everything
Before
went down.
he, yeah,
Really?
Technically, his last movie was, what was it? All the Money in the World. But they literally, in the middle of shooting, found someone else.
Christopher Plummer. They shot all of the movie
And they-
with Kevin
and-
Spacey,
and
and
they
then they were
reshot
like,
it.
"Oh no!" And then Christopher Plummer came in, and then he got nominated for an Oscar.
And everybody who, I haven't seen it, but everybody who has seen it, I've asked about it. I said, what do you think? And they go, I think it would be better if Kevin Spacey was in it.
Really?
That's what I've always heard.
I've never heard. Like, I remember the big deal about that last year because
Yeah.
the trailer released and everything. They
Yeah.
finished shooting it. He was there, like Kevin Spacey.
Yeah.
And then they deleted the trailer after everything got released. And they were like, crap. And then they were
Yeah,
like, what
yeah.
do we do? And they were like, Christopher Plummer, come on.
They released a trailer with Kevin Spacey?
Yeah, it's him. It's
Dude, I
it's,
would kill to see that.
it's only one shot of him. It was it was at the very end, and it was like because like they were trying.
Wasn't it he the main character?
Yeah, he was, but they were trying to hype the main character up. Like, what are you
Okay.
gonna do? What's gonna happen? And like they show him at the end. He was like, "I'm not gonna pay for my grandson." I don't know what it's
Dude,
about. It's
have you seen Kevin Spacey's YouTube video?
oh no,
You
no,
haven't?
I haven't.
What's
Is
it called?
What's it about? What is it?
Hey, Jacob,
Is it
can
him
you bring that up?
apologizing?
No. Jacob, can you bring it up?
Yes, of course.
Because I remember, was it Anthony Rapp? Right, that was the big deal. Was it
What
him?
was the title?
Oh, the guy from Rent? Yeah, I think
'Cause he was the one
that
that-
was the big case. I don't know if there were more. What?
What was the title?
Just look up Kevin Spacey video.
And I remember he said he was like, "Yes, I'm gay," and I'm sorry it came across that way. It was like Kevin Spacey, and I was like, "What?"
I didn't hear the actual statement. Was it in an interview or was it written down?
I don't remember.
I heard
remember
it all
him-
by word of mouth.
Exactly. Like I remember it was like very nonchalant. And he was like, "Yes,
It's
that
the
is
one at
true.
the top, Jacob.
Sorry to my wife. I am." It was like really weird.
Okay, you have to turn it up, I think.
We're watching a YouTube video.
Yeah,
a
we
YouTube
won't-
video breaking fourth walls. Bam.
We don't have to watch the whole thing. We'll just watch a little bit of it. But I just want you to, and you can like face your mic towards the computer.
Okay.
Okay, play it.
Will we get copyrighted for this?
No, it's not. I mean, it's just a YouTube video. You gotta turn it up like a lot.
Oh, sure, they may have tried to separate us, but what we have is too strong, it's too powerful. And after all, we shared everything, you and I told you my deepest, darkest secrets. I showed you
What is
exactly what people are capable of. I shocked you with my honesty, but mostly I challenged you and made you think.
What?
Just watch.
And you trusted me, even though you knew you shouldn't. So we're not done, no matter what anyone says. And besides, I know what you want. You want me back.
What?
Of course, some believed everything and have just been waiting with bated breath to hear me confess it all. They're just dying to have me declare that everything said is true and that I got what I deserved. Wouldn't that be easy? If it was all so simple. Only you and I both know it's never that simple, not in politics and not in life. But you wouldn't believe the worst without evidence, would you? You wouldn't rush to judgments without facts, would you? Did you? No, not you.
Okay, you can pause it
You're
now.
smarter than that.
Okay, what is this?
Turn the volume back down.
My
So nobody
goodness.
knows really what's going on. It's called Let Me Be Frank, and it's just on some random Kevin Spacey YouTube channel that he uploaded. And I haven't seen House of Cards, but apparently he's doing like an impression of
No,
he's like
'cause-
doing his character
But
from
that's
House of
not.
Cards.
He doesn't speak that deep in House of Cards. He's more up here, and so it's like.
Oh, I
what?
don't know. That's just what I heard. Everyone assumed that he was playing his character, but you can't tell if he's talking about House of Cards or if he's talking about the real world or what exactly is going on.
Okay.
And it's kind of just like, I don't know.
It seems like, I mean, okay, nobody in the live stream could see what the video was showing, but
Well, it's just him. It's just him
It's like
sitting
he's
at
cooking,
but the
right?
apron-
Yeah, he's got a little Christmas apron
it's a
on, a
Santa
Christmas
Claus
cup of,
apron,
which a cup of coffee.
might be.
Why?
He's like chopping something.
Okay, you know what I bet it was? He was supposed to be in season 6 of House of Cards. Like
Yeah.
that was a big deal. And then
Shit, got the cops.
maybe it was like a big ad for House of Cards.
Mhm.
But after everything happened, they were like, "You're out of the show."
Well, it was made in
What
no.
happened?
It was like made in iMovie. You could see like the stuff that he used to do the thing.
Weird.
So it's like he made it like recently,
Do you not know what happened to Kevin Spacey?
and nobody understands what's going on. As far as unless something's come out recently. I think that video came out like a month or two ago.
Okay, well then, no, that's so weird.
Nobody knows what it's about. Like if he's talking about real life or if he's trying to make a comeback or what exactly is going on. It was very confusing and there was not a lot of context. And
So-
I'm very curious as to what he was trying to do there.
To answer your question, by the way, Jacob didn't know anything about Kevin Spacey.
Now we're talking about Kevin Spacey, and I was just like,
You don't know who Kevin Spacey is?
I just found out.
You've seen that guy though.
I've seen him in House of Cards, yes.
But
He's a famous actor. He's been in a
I
ton
did
of
know
stuff.
that. Yes.
He was in 7.
But what
and
happened to him? Is
he's a-
it just
he's a-
not in anything anymore?
He's a great. Well, he was part of the Me Too movement thing.
And that cost him.
Yeah, but
he was one of the
he was
guys who got caught up in that.
He deserved to kind of. It wasn't like just some random one.
It was
Okay.
like
It
was a bad deal.
His was pretty.
Well, I
bad.
mean, he admitted to it. There was no like
admitted
false
to it?
accusations. They were like,
Wow.
well, it was weird. It is weird. It's not like
What specifically?
straight up and down
Don't-
because
don't go into crazy.
I don't
detail,
know all
but
the specifics. I know the thing involving
gonna look it
Anthony
up real
Rapp
quick.
that apparently because he used to be in Broadway
yeah, Kevin
and
Spacey, and then
on
like
at this Broadway party, sometime like 20 years ago or something. Anthony Rapp was like 14 or 15, which is kind of like what's a 14 or 15-year-old doing at a party
If
where
it was-
everyone's going crazy and drinking.
I guess.
But
yeah.
apparently, supposedly I believe they were both like drunk and
why was he drunk?
Kevin
He's 14 or
Spacey-
15.
because he's on Broadway. But Kevin Spacey apparently like took advantage of him and he was accused of it. And if I remember correctly, he said like, I don't remember that, but it's entirely possible. And they were like, is a guy. And he was like, oh yeah, I'm gay.
Yeah, that was.
And they
super
were like,
funny.
thanks for associating homosexuality with rape, Kevin.
And that's why it was like a big deal.
That's why it was big because
okay, so this is
it was like, wow, that was not helpful.
Yeah, this has been going on since October 2017.
Yeah.
BuzzFeed published allegations made by an actor, Anthony Rapp, that Spacey.
This is kind of
was-
old news, James.
This is
Jacob.
old news,
James.
Well, this is when it all began, I guess. But he made a sexual advance toward a 14-year-old.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that was proved correct.
Yeah, that was proof.
Well, it's not that it was proved. He just said, yeah, it probably happened. I just don't. He didn't remember. He was drunk, and it was 20 years ago.
oh my gosh.
Interesting.
I mean, do you remember every time you were drunk 20 years ago, Jacob?
I mean, there were a lot of dark times.
Newsflash: Jacob is not even 20 years old yet. Just to let all of you know.
Newsflash.
Spoiler alert.
I'm a little bit older than you guys think I am.
Yeah, right.
And I have a drinking problem.
How did I want to go? Okay, let's get past Kevin Spacey.
Yes, please.
How did I just totally blanked. How did production go for Daisy? Like describe your stress level
It was
and how long it took compared to how long you thought it would take,
Production for Daisy was
and the best and worst part.
was actually pretty smooth. I'm not gonna lie. So because like this was before like I said, I wasn't even sure if this was gonna get made or not because like I'd written two.
That's always a worry, yeah.
I had written 2 previous screenplays
Mhm.
those 2 years before. Both didn't get made,
Mhm.
and I was kind of sour about both of them. I'm glad now both of them didn't get made for various reasons, but I was just like, I don't really like. And I was just I liked this one, but I was like, I'm not gonna get my hopes up. Then finally, when Caleb and Kira, came on board, they were really actually like pushing me to it. They were like, "When are we gonna film this?" And I was like, I mean, I guess whenever y'all are ready. And that's what I think that also helped. I had a very small cast. It was literally just the 2 of them.
Mhm.
And like with Sleepover, we've been through a lot of stuff with Sleepover. Just like a lot of stuff has happened. Not just like there was just school stuff, a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
So it's like we've had to push stuff back. We filmed stuff, so I'm ready for y'all to see it. It's not completely done yet, but I am ready. We are working on that, letting you all know out there.
On your most
audience.
recent
Yes.
project.
Yes.
So I'm sorry I'm interrupting. I'm just gonna
No,
write
you're
it
good.
down. I'm gonna write it down. You keep going.
So like it literally took about a day to film Daisy. And I got with Caleb and we filmed all the scenes with him in the room. And then Kira showed up and we got wardrobe figured out. I really wanted them both wearing yellow, even though it was in black and white. I just love
Did-
the yellow.
Did you storyboard or did you kind of just know what you were going for and shoot?
I tried to storyboard it, but for this one I was like, you know what? I know what I'm going for. I'm just gonna shoot it. And we also
I don't think there's necessarily a wrong to either of those. It just makes it easier when you storyboard. But sometimes, I mean, Steven Spielberg used to storyboard a lot, but now he doesn't because
Yeah.
he's Steven Spielberg.
He's
So
like,
he kind of does whatever he wants.
I
And
got
he
this.
like the thing about storyboarding is it helps with production time, which helps with money. Steven Spielberg doesn't need to worry about money.
Yeah, because
So he kind of just shows up and he's like, yeah, I guess we'll do the shot like this, you know?
Yeah. So there was one thing we did have to cut. I really wanted to do this, but timing just couldn't do it. We went for a more rustic with Daisy, where it was like they're in the park, by the lake. But I wanted to do a lot of stuff downtown.
Yeah.
I wanted to get like shots of them walking downtown. I wanted one of them at Monk's, like just drinking coffee.
Yeah.
Or like just being like teenagers, like like when like you just run around and go all near the abandoned buildings in Abilene and stuff like that.
I can't speak because I haven't seen this version of it that doesn't exist.
Yes.
But I think it's better for the fact that it didn't do that.
Oh no, I completely agree. I think it worked out much better. But there
It's
was
more simple because it felt like just one date. It felt like just the simple date that they went on, and there was nothing like it didn't go too far. They weren't making out,
Yep.
or making love or anything. They just went on a date. They were like eating
Like-
Doritos or something.
Yeah.
Like it was just like so simple.
That's
It was
what-
like, God, man.
I completely agree. I liked the simplicity of it, and
Yeah.
I wanted to keep it that way. But like when I was first doing it, I had this big idea. I was like, let's do like a lot of stuff. Like let's
Yeah.
show an entire day that they go through.
Yeah.
Then I was like, as we were doing it, just timing constraints, and I was like, you know what, maybe. And then I was editing it, and I was like, oh, it's so much better that we did it like this because
Was a fine line between
it also
going too long and not. Because it's 5 minutes and there's no
Yes.
words, so
Mhm.
you did a pretty good job of keeping attention.
Thanks. And the one thing I also really wanted to show was it was like the perfection of Marty, who's our main character's name.
Yeah.
The perfection of him is imperfection. So it's like he was hanging out with this girl, literally just eating, chips and bread and drinking water in
Right,
the
right,
back
right.
of his car. And it was like, I like that because it's like it shows that he doesn't need to have like this perfect life. He just wants something very simple. And
Right.
so I wanted to show that. I thought that was really sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was your favorite part of filming?
Caleb, Kira, I'm about to throw y'all under the bus.
Oh no.
So
when they weren't there.
no. So I wanted them to kiss
Right.
early on.
Did
in-
they didn't kiss in it, did they?
They didn't. We cut it before they did
Okay.
because of spoiler alert.
Oh, don't spoil it. Don't spoil it. Don't spoil
No,
it.
yeah, I'm not gonna spoil that. But so we cut it before they actually kissed. But I wanted them to kiss before, and I
Yeah.
had this kissing scene, and we were in the back of this truck that we were shooting in, and I
Mhm.
was like, all right, and like they were just hanging out. and they
So
were
you
doing-
filmed them kissing, but
Yeah, I
you cut
filmed-
it before it happens.
I did that one, but this was another scene.
Right.
I wanted them to kiss before, and I was like, okay. And we were just, I'm talking them through it because there's no dialogue in the movie. So I was like, that was something that kind of helped too. I could like talk them through scenes, and I was like, why don't you like pick up the chips? Or, like, and I was whispering in the background. I was like, no, kiss her. And they look back and they go, what? And I was like, just kiss each other. It's not that awkward.
Right.
Like,
Right.
calm down. And they were like,
High schoolers are dumb.
they were
Hold
just
on.
like,
No. I have such a big strength on this because I always thought, am I like the biggest loser in the world to like want so badly to have a part just where I get to kiss a girl? They have to kiss me. There's
it's
no.
not that.
I mean,
cracked up.
like,
I feel like the
kissed-
biggest. I've always like kind of like really not like horribly bad, but I've always like thought that was be such a cool thing to do because like
It's so
nothing-
much less cool than you would imagine.
It's
I've
really-
had like 6 different stage kisses with 6 different girls, and it's always the most awkward thing you'll ever do.
I stayed
Like, and the thing is, you have to act through the awkwardness, and you have to pretend that it's the best thing that's ever happened because you have to enjoy it.
I'll enjoy it.
I'm in a.
Well, you have to seemingly enjoy it because the character would
Yeah,
enjoy it,
I
but it's like super awkward because normally it's with someone that you don't know that well,
exactly. Yeah.
or it's with someone that you're probably not in a relationship with, and
Oh, that's also a
probably
weird
won't
part
be.
of it. Yeah,
the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
I'm in a play right now where I have to passionately kiss my counterpart, I'm not going to mention her name because I don't know if she wants to, but like I have to passionately kiss her because we've been in this seasoned relationship, and both of us have never been in real.
She wouldn't want you to admit. She doesn't want people to know that you guys are kissing.
Well, I just don't know if she wants me to mention her name or not.
Oh, okay.
But everyone.
What are her initials?
It's Sydney Irwin. I'll just go ahead and say that. Sydney,
Damn, what
your
the hell,
daughter.
Bryce?
that's No,
That's
Yeah.
my daughter.
Yeah. So I have to like passionately
Sydney
kiss her,
Irwin.
and both of us have never been in any relationship prior to
Isn't she
this.
so much younger than you?
She's a year younger than me.
Oh, she's just a year. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
You're so much
That's so
younger.
funny.
What is she like?
Well, I just feel like she's so much younger than me.
Well, she is younger than you.
Well, I know, but I forget that we're not the same age.
So yeah, it's like it's really awkward. But we've been working with like Kyle Martin on it, and who's the director.
Hey, Kyle Martin was on the podcast.
Yeah, he
one time,
was. Yeah.
forever ago.
But anyway, so I told Caleb and Kira, I was like, okay, y'all gotta kiss each other now, and they were like, no, that's weird. And I was like, come on, just
Yeah.
get through it, kiss each other. And then so Kira goes to kiss him, and she misses.
Yeah.
And they like hits his elbow or like the elbow. I don't know. It was like really bad miss. And I still have the deleted scene.
That's
I'm
wonderful.
sorry, guys. I do still have the deleted scene.
Still
I
have the
told-
deleted scene. I don't watch it. I don't watch it all the time. Anytime.
Every night before I go to bed.
No, okay, that's just weird. But yeah,
Yeah.
like so I have it, and it's
Jacob.
just it's really
sorry.
it's really funny because it's literally like this, and I was like, okay, kiss, and then they like miss each other, like, oh my gosh. And
Yeah,
then
yeah,
I was like, that's going on the blooper reel, and they were like, do not put that on the bloopers.
For
And I was
an
like,
inexperienced actor,
fine.
that must be such a weird thing, though. I can relate 100% because that's such a funny thought, having to kiss somebody for acting.
Jacob, you got to speak into this part of the microphone, by the way.
Yes, buddy.
I have to speak into this part of the mic.
You can move. You can. It moves.
I do know that. I just didn't want to.
There you go.
Whatever.
There you go.
To kiss someone. Wait, say again. What was your comment?
It's such a weird thought for me to think about kissing someone because I've never kissed anybody unless I'm really wanting to.
love.
Well, I remember. Okay, so freshman year, my first stage kiss was. It was supposed to be a kiss on the lips, but it ended up being a kiss on the cheek because she
Hold
had.
on, we got to comment real quick.
she had a s-
Someone is asking who's watching chat right now, and that's me, Jacob, the Capri Sun man, of course.
That's right,
Capri
that's right.
Sun man.
But it was. She had this scary football player, senior
Oh.
linebacker boyfriend, who was like not comfortable with it, and she told the director, she was like, "Yeah, he's not comfortable with me kissing somebody else."
Okay, you know
and
what?
so
Suck it
basically,
up.
yeah, it became. I know it's so dumb, but it became a kiss on the cheek, and so it was really scary because I knew he was in the audience, and everyone. Okay, here's the thing: I was a little baby freshman.
Wait, did the director say just kiss him on the kiss her, on the cheek?
Yeah.
Or were you like in the like just like oh, give it
No, the director said to just kiss on the cheek. That's what we
Okay.
decided on.
okay.
But we went to state with it. It was a one act, and I remember everyone was talking about. Apparently, it was a thing that I don't remember if people said that I said it to someone or that they expected me to do it. That they thought I was going to kiss her on the lips at state, like because it was. But he was
Do it.
still in the audience. He came to see it in Austin, and so I was really scared. And I was like, I don't have that plan. I don't know who thinks I'm going to do that. And so afterwards, the girl, I'm not going to say her name, but the girl,
What are her initials?
her name is Sarah. I'm not going to tell you her last name,
Oh.
but I remember she said something like, "You didn't kiss me," and I was like, "No, I don't know who made that up. I never had that plan. I'm not looking for that." Well,
Yeah.
'cause I had already made it up in my mind and for my character that it made sense for me to give her a kiss on the cheek, and that had become part of it.
Yeah.
And I know that you can do spontaneous things, but there's a certain time where you need to be disciplined, and I wasn't looking to do something, and that would have just been
Yeah, that makes
for the
sense.
hell of it at that point. And so then sophomore year, I had another stage kiss with a girl, and
Oh, you were. Oh,
We-
I know who this girl is. Wait, no, sorry, I'm mixing up your sophomore year with your.
yeah, I
junior
was
year.
in Mason and
Yeah,
sophomore
I'm
year, but my
sorry.
sophomore year is this
I know who
girl-
you've been kissing all your life.
It was this girl who did not like me, and I did not like her very much.
Like hated you, or just was like, I don't like you.
Oh, she's just really mean.
Oh, I
She's just a really mean person. And it was funny because I would get so into my character and she would get very into her character too. So when we were on stage, I could literally like it kind of becomes confusing when you're young and and your hormones are going everywhere and
You
You're
want me to kiss you?
well, and you're an actor, and so you're basically, as far as I was concerned, being an actor meant like when you're on stage, it's you telling yourself, "This is me." That my character's name was Tony, so it's like I'm Tony, I'm Tony, I'm Tony, and then like I'm in love with this girl, I'm in love with her, and she's very pretty,
yeah.
and so like you look at this girl looking at you like she loves you, and we're talking like we love each other, and then we kiss each other, and so literally I'm on stage, and it's so confusing for me and all my little whatever 16-year-old hormones. I'm like, maybe I really do like her. And then we'd get off stage and she'd just be a bitch to me. And I'd just be like, oh yeah, I don't like her at all. Like she was that rude that right afterwards it was like, oh yeah, I want nothing to do with her.
I had my first stage kiss this
Man, I
year.
hope she doesn't watch this podcast. That'd be super awkward. I just realized that
Who cares?
she won't watch this podcast.
It's been years.
I'm not gonna mention her name.
It's been years. You told us her first name, right?
No,
That was
no, that's a different girl. That was freshman year.
So like I had
Sophomore year was somebody else, but
I had my first stage.
she's probably a fine person now. It's not that I said she's not a bitch. I shouldn't have said that. I want to backpedal.
Got her. Nope. She's
No,
a
it's a- no, no, no.
bitch.
It says so on the podcast now.
You made out with her and
Let me
they called her
clarify.
a bitch.
Let me clarify. She's not a bitch. I hate calling anybody that, but
Yeah.
she was just very, very rude, demanding, and she would tell me how to act. And it was like,
That's the director's job, miss.
right. And she would tell me, she was like,
Bitch.
Stop.
I think
This is
we
so
did.
funny.
I think we did one time. We were doing this thing where we did like, we did a run through where we were doing, God, what was it? The subtext. We're doing the reading in between the lines. So basically, it's like instead of saying your actual lines, you say something else, like what your lines mean. So if you're saying,
Ooh, that's a good idea. We haven't done that.
yeah, and so it's very spontaneous, and you have to really understand your character to be able to do it. And I remember one time we're doing it, and everyone's saying random stuff, trying to say the subtext, and I said something like,
I'm in love.
"What is
with
this?
you.
Just a game to you?" And I said that, and she looked at me and she's like, "That doesn't make any sense. That's not right." And I was like, "Yes, it does. Keep going. What are you doing? We're in the middle of a run." But like, yeah, off stage, she would just get mad at everybody, and it was a different time. I shouldn't have said that. Yeah.
Yeah, I had my.
She was just very difficult, and we did not get along off stage. And so it was funny. It was very confusing because on stage, I'd be like, man, do I like this girl? And then off stage, I'd be like, man, I really don't like this girl. And my brain wanted to explode.
I had my first stage kiss this year with Kira, and that was. I can say her name because we're friends, and I don't think that she's.
And you're not gonna call her name,
Man, she's a total good friend of mine.
Man.
Yeah, it was awkward for me because I've also never.
Jacob, what are you doing?
Spoiled.
We got another comment asking about the white ball on the desk.
It's a moon.
Yeah, it's
Because
our
here's
freaking
the
camera's not good enough, but it's the moon.
Okay, try turning it off. Try turning off the light.
I'll try to. Here, I can make it yellow. Is that better?
No,
It still
just try turning it all the way off.
It looks like you're holding a bright ball of energy on the camera.
Is it all the way off now?
Here, I'm turning it all the way on again. Now it's off.
Can you see it now? That it's like moon.
That doesn't. I
too
mean,
bright.
the lights just make it look like a white ball,
It's too bright.
but it is supposed to be a moon because popcorn space.
Popcorn space.
Popcorn.
This is white and this is yellow. You can't even tell the difference.
Well, like there's a little difference. It looks like it's like I have the power. It's like,
Yeah, it's supposed to be.
I'm a
moon.
nerd. I'm sorry.
All right, keep going, Bryce. You were talking about kissing people.
Oh yeah, I was like, so yeah, it was really weird for me
I feel so bad about saying
kissing
bitch.
Kira because like we're such good friends. Because we were such good friends. Sorry, we were such good friends, but like we
Don't feel bad.
like once you get it done, it's like you just realize it's part of the job. Like it's you're doing the show. It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, off stage, that's what you need to know is that it's part of the job. So as long as when you come off stage, and the rehearsal is over, it's part of the job.
Because like
that's important to be able to be a person outside of the theater, unless you're dedicating your whole love life to theater, like a priest or whatever.
yeah.
Was it priests that can't have sex, or is it
Well, priests can have sex. They're priests.
a Catholic priest?
Oh, Catholic priest? Oh, I don't know about that. I'm not Catholic.
You want me to look it up?
That's a thing, right?
Hey,
Let me see.
oh, speaking
Or
of
is-
this,
well, nuns can't have sex.
I want your opinion on this.
Absolutely not.
I was
The point I'm saying, giving your life to something and being like, I'm not going to do anything else because I'm sacrificing myself for the entertainment of others. But if you want to be a person outside of that, you have to not follow that, because even if you do fall in love and you guys are single right now and it can work out for you, like say that you fall in love with someone because you're in a play with them. Well, then you guys get together and then eventually probably one, if not both of you are going to be in another play where you have to be in love with someone else.
yeah.
And then if you're in the mindset where you can't control that you're so in love with whoever you're acting with, it's like, ooh, now you have a problem.
To all the boys and girls out there who have a boyfriend or girlfriend in a play where they have to kiss someone and you're getting mad about it, shut up. Just stop. Like, it's like so
Well, I mean,
stupid.
it depends on who you're dating. You just got to know who you're dating. I mean, some people probably are just trying to
Oh, so going back to
trying to hoe around.
going back to Catholic priests, I want your opinion on this because I've been having interesting conversations with people about this. What is your opinion on Christian films?
They are really bad.
Yes. Listen, so I am a very, you know me. I'm a very like faithful person. I love God. But for some reason, I just
keep it over there.
I just can't. I don't like Christian films, and I don't know like.
I have a whole speech about that. Can I get into that?
Yeah, sure. Because like I really want I want to know, and because like that's part of my goal. Like Daisy has a lot of undertones of Christianity in it, especially in like because it's kind of just saying like what happens when you put someone before God. But also I was like, I don't want to make a Christian movie though. So,
undertones. That's the important part.
Exactly.
Here's the thing: is that there's a very fine line between art and propaganda, and art is interpretable. Propaganda is not. When something is a piece of art, that means that two different people can look at it and receive completely different messages or different ideals from it. But when something's propaganda, really, no matter how many people look at it, they're basically going to get the same thing if they're looking into it correctly.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can be dulled to not seeing it when you don't use your brain, But when you start to like think and be aware of like, I don't know, like issues in the world and ideologies that are trying to be forced on you, you start to notice it. And it's kind of ruined a lot of movies for me because a lot of movies right now are propaganda, and it's
political propaganda for sure.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, and so I talked. I'm trying not to shit on Black Panther too much because I rewatched it and
it's a good movie. Black Panther's good,
but I would say that. Well, I don't know. I had notes on it. I think I ended up deciding that it was propaganda.
No,
Yeah.
I might have not.
I would
agree
say
with that.
It's about socialism. It's a socialist propaganda because Killmonger's whole thing is about socialism and how there needs to be because they have wealth and they need to be sharing it with everybody and they need to take care of every single person. They were like, we're protecting our own. And he was like, everyone is your own. And it's like, yeah, but that's not
the way he described it was different.
Like
well, I think that's just
it was a
though,
caricaturized version of it because theoretically Wakanda, this fictional place, is wealthy enough and does have the resources enough to take care of practically everybody. But the real world doesn't have that. There is no real Wakanda. And we can't just spread this wealth and protect everybody. People have to defend their own. It's really important that people do that because if not, no one's going to care about anything. It's all going to fall apart. But anyways, I don't know. I might have ended up deciding that it was art. It depends on how the ending happened. I have notes. I'd have to go look at them.
Killmonger decided to end his own life by pushing the knife.
No, I know. I just took notes. I went and watched it again. And I took notes on it. So
I'm so glad it didn't get a visual effects nomination. Can I say that?
Because it's got bad visual effects.
It won.
Well,
visual effects
all of the Marvel
award.
movies now, besides the Avengers movies, have horrible special effects. Spider-Man: Homecoming had really bad special effects.
Well, I thought Thor Ragnarok, what's bad and what's stylized?
That one was fine, I guess.
Because Thor Ragnarok looked really cool. The Iron Man movies have had pretty
Yeah,
good
but
effects.
those were back before all the Avengers movies were
Doctor Strange.
what they were going for.
That one was unbelievable. Doctor Strange visually.
Yeah, I guess it was pretty good.
And
But
what was the other one they just did? Guardians of the Galaxy too. They look really good.
Yeah, they got some good visuals.
okay, well, there are certain Marvel movies
Shut up,
that are
Jack.
very good.
I just
I guess it
totally
depends
shot
what you're
down
trying
your
to
whole.
I guess it depends on what you're trying to do with the special effects.
The
but
Thor, I think also what's bad and what's stylized,
Right.
too. Because you can you can have bad special effects, but if you stylize them to look cool, I think Thor Ragnarok's, they're okay, they're not bad,
Yeah.
but they do this cool style to them that it's okay, I know this is fake, but it looks so stylized and with everything else that I think it's really cool.
Well, there were so many things that were so dumb. Okay, first of all, in Black Panther, there are multiple CGI rhinos.
Yeah.
Rhinos are real animals.
That's
They
the
didn't have to
funniest
do
thing.
that.
Yeah, that was the funniest thing in the world.
They
That
could
was
have gotten
kinda funny.
footage of a real rhino. They're spending millions of dollars making a fake rhino.
Is the parts where superheroes get hit really hard and fly with their body bending in half, flying through the air? Has that ever bothered you? Because I've noticed that quite a bit. He got hit by the rhino and just flew, and his body kind of
I think I know what you're talking about.
And he hits
I
a
remember,
rock.
I couldn't even. The
It's
CGI
pretty
is
funny
so
to
bad.
me.
That's why I saw the new Spider-Man Far From Home trailer. And
The CGI looks like they've improved it a little bit, actually.
Okay, I was gonna say it still looks bad.
No, because like, okay, so what is it? Because they have
the thing of him swinging through the city looked weird. I thought.
well, that was like one shot where he swung through the
I
city.
know, but it was weird price. I love Spider-Man, and I'm saying this.
You're protective of Spider-Man.
It's not about.
I understand.
Well, no. That's the thing. Is it's like I'm using that to show that I'm not. It's not just like I love the Black Panther character. I think it's great. I've read some of the comic books. They're fantastic. I'm sad that the Killmonger story is the one we went with because Black Panther has such a rich history of comic books, and I do not think that was the best version of Black Panther we could have had.
They were also trying to think of the times.
That's the
and
problem
stuff,
I have
too.
with
the
it.
times. They were like, I think that's what they were thinking of. Like, what can we tell with the times?
Yeah, socialist propaganda price.
I just wish like
Bernie Sanders endorsed it. I'm just kidding.
I wish eighth
Probably did,
grade,
though.
like eighth grade, got no Oscar nominations this year, and
Oh, dude, I haven't seen it yet. I really wanted to see it.
so good. I loved it. Like there were like I could have thought of like I
It
loved
got Golden Globe nominations though, right?
it. Did Elsie Fisher got nominated?
You know what got snubbed is "Won't You Be My Neighbor." Have you seen that?
Yes, I know it got snubbed. So
You
stupid.
hit the table a lot,
gosh,
right?
yeah, that was
Sorry,
terrifying.
like that was like
The
everyone
sound
said.
is all the way
Everyone
up
said
on
this
the
is the
plane.
best documentary of the year, no doubt. And then it never got nominated for anything. It's
I
like,
know.
what?
I can't even think of another documentary from this year. What's up, Jacob?
I got a Wantless Pizza saying, "What are your opinions on Spider-Verse?" And we've talked about this quite a bit,
Oh,
but
yeah.
I think
Love
Oh,
it.
they might have just chimed in. Yeah, we talked already a lot about Spider-Verse. I would wait till
briefly,
this is
if you
over.
want.
Now-
I would wait till this is over and go back to where we talked about
Yeah,
it.
yeah, you're right. It's at the beginning.
I mean, our opinions on Spider-Verse are basically that it's fantastic, correct?
Yes, it's amazing, fantastic,
I can't-
spectacular.
You know what? So I've talked about. I'm curious what they're going to do for the sequel, and there are a couple things I think they could do, and they could probably even branch out.
Oh yeah, you could
Because
do different universes.
Sony's trying to cash grab. I bet they will, but you could do just a sequel to the Miles Morales story
for sure.
with no Spider-Verse in it.
I
with
want them to
just
do
him.
like the 2099. I'm sorry, like that's one of my favorite
Yeah,
Spider-Man.
I thought it would be cool if the next Spider-Verse actually went into 2099, bringing the 60s Spider-Man animated cartoon guy
That'd be so cool.
into 2099.
I wanna
and that
s-
would be so funny. And then you could probably throw in a couple more Spider-Man.
I
But
want to see Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Tom Holland all in the same.
it would be a cool buddy comedy to see the 60s Spider-Man in 2099.
Just
was it
chilling.
Miguel O'Hara.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is who it is. Sorry,
Um,
he's one of my favorites. I
They
love
could
that.
do
And that
so
was-
much with this series.
I mean,
the
it was just a
Spider-Verse
silly.
is-
It was just a silly and credit scene. But that, like, if you could do, they could do that. Like,
They-
that'd be funny.
They've talked about.
I mean, they had Spider-Ham, and he was hilarious.
Yeah, Lord and Miller. They talked about how they want to do. If they actually get lucky enough to do more sequels, they want to do like short Spider-Ham short films
Yeah.
before each of the movies.
That would be funny.
Which with John Mulaney just coming
Yeah.
back and he's like, "What's up?" And I'm like, "Oh my god."
There are certain things I think would not work. I love Nicolas Cage as
no, a
Spider-Man
movie would not
Noir.
work.
I thought he was fantastic, but I think I've heard people talking about that he should do a solo film with just him. I don't think it would work.
I think a
I
Spider
think
Gwen.
I think he plays off of people better than he does by himself.
Yeah, I think a Spider Gwen movie would work. I would love to see a movie about her,
I think they were making one. Yeah.
and I would like to see. I'd like to see. We've seen it a lot. I'm sorry. I know. I
What's
love.
weird is that they teased freaking like some kind of relationship between Gwen Stacy and Miles Morales, and the whole thing is that like them going from universe to universe like destroys the very fabric of time and space.
But maybe that's the plot of the sequel. They're
So
like
it's like-
destroying time and space. Their love is
They're
too strong.
star-crossed lovers. Yeah, it's
I-
like wow, what a horrible situation.
I'd love to see their take on like that weird like the Peter Parker. We've seen a lot of Peter Parker movies, but I liked that Peter
Dude,
Parker.
I want a freaking cameo from all of the Spider-Man in it.
Dude, me too.
From
you know
from
what?
Tom, Andrew, and Toby.
Which one was your
I
favorite?
love seeing Mary Jane again. I haven't
Toby.
seen Mary Jane in so long. Like just a classic Mary Jane.
Yeah.
Like I love seeing that.
What was really cool was how Peter B. Parker was really like the way that he explained his backstory. He was really the main continuity of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
The only thing they changed, which I think is good that they did, because he said he got a divorce instead of what really happened, which was he made a deal with Mephisto, the
Yeah.
devil,
Well,
to undo
okay,
their marriage.
There was a lot of weird Spider-Man like comics. Like, did you?
Well,
there's
there's
the one where he got.
behind it. The reason they did it is because people said
Like,
that
they-
when
they-
he got married, that it was really boring reading.
Have you read the,
married
uh,
Spider-Man?
Have you read the Spider-Man where he got like molested?
No,
it's a
by
story-
who?
It was okay, it was just some. Sorry, I'm gonna go into some like deep comic book lore right here, and this
No,
is
go-
all
I
real.
mean, I know there's a ton of weird stuff. I mean, one
So
of
it
them,
was in the
one of
ni-
them, Mary Jane gets cancer from his
Yeah, Yeah, sperm.
Yeah.
Sperm.
So it was in the 90s, and it was like
It's radioactive sperm.
they were trying to like push away like like all this stuff. It's like don't talk to strangers. So like they were like let's do something really serious. And it was before he was Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like they just wrote this issue. It was like Peter Parker, the comic book, and it was just this old man he met on the street, and he was like, "Come here, Peter. I want to talk to you." And like there's literally it's so weird. Yeah, it's so weird. And like it's a real comic book, and he just like. He's like, he invites him into his house. Aunt May and Uncle Ben are gone. And he's like, "What's up?" And he's like, "You're a good friend of mine." He's like, "I'm a good friend of yours too. Now, why don't you take that shirt?" Like actual line, he says, "Why don't you take that shirt off?" It was like super obvious propaganda, but it's super weird.
You know, there are
reading
some
it.
good
Like,
comic books, Bryce, but there are some really, really weird comic books.
Yes, and it was like, oh, it was terrible.
I
Like,
still feel bad about saying bitch. I feel like I should take that back.
it's okay, Jackson. She knows you don't mean it.
I take it back. Well, she's not gonna watch it, I'm certain. But someone might watch it who knows someone who knows her, and I just feel like it's gonna get back.
I knew
that
this
I said
guy
that.
who knew this guy who knew this guy who knew this guy who knew this guy's cousin.
I literally haven't even known her forever. I'm sure she's great.
Yeah, it's Jackson. It's okay.
I know, I'm freaking out. Just make me feel better, Bryce.
It's okay. Listen, you got this. You got
Okay, cool. Sorry. Anyways, keep going about the molestation of Peter Parker.
Yeah, that's basically it. And like it was like on the top 3 most for like comic books Marvel wants you to forget about. It's the one where he sells his, to the devil and makes the deal. Then it's that
Can
one.
you not say soul?
Well, I can say he sells his soul to the devil. But I just think
he sells his,
But yeah, so it's like it's that
Bryce,
one. Then
I'm
this
so scared to bring up topics.
So it's that one, and then it's this one that I just talked about. And then there's a third one where it's like Aunt May dies
Right.
or something, and
She dies multiple times.
Yeah, but it was like the way they killed her off in this one. It was like really
Because I have the issue where she died, which was I think the first time, which was issue number 400 of the original series. But then she almost dies during Civil War, which takes place during like the 500s of the original series.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I don't know what happened.
Marvel,
Because I don't have all the comics in between, so I don't know what happened.
Marvel's just got some weird.
Maybe
like,
she was brought back to life.
I love Marvel. That's kind of why I like the films. I love the comic books, but you can go so many different routes with them, and like you can take it into different universes or different things.
I have troubles with the films, and here's the reason why: is because they're too serialized. I think when you come up with a good idea for a film, then you should make it. But they're pulling film after film after film after film, and so many of them are not nearly as good as movies in general should be, or as.
I mean, you got to look at them differently. I think because like they're kind of doing the Star Wars thing, where it's like this
Star Wars
is all
didn't do
connected.
this.
They did it.
They have more movies than Star Wars.
Exactly. They're doing it, but they're
And
like
Star Wars did it over like 40 years.
exactly. That's the kind of what they're like. They aren't. Star Wars are events. You know what I mean? It's like when this movie comes out, it's a big event. Marvel's like
If they wanted to do
Marvel's
3
like,
movies every
here's
10 years, I'd be cool with it.
here's a cool movie and an event. Here's a cool movie and our big event. So it's like what is it? To give an example, like Ant-Man is like one of their like lesser movies, and then they're like Civil War. That's our big event this year, and then it's like
hate
Doctor
Civil War.
Strange. I know you hate Civil War, but we're not talking about that.
Do you like Civil War?
Jackson? You know the answer to this.
I love
I
Civil
forgot,
War.
I forgot if you liked it or not.
I love
What's wrong
Civil,
with Civil War?
Jackson doesn't like it. Let's not get into this
Doesn't
because
trigger
this
me
is just
anymore.
going to end up in a fight.
It was one of my favorite
I look
wars. back
crazy.
in-
I didn't like fix my hair correctly today,
I look.
and it's
I
like
mean,
spider like.
I'm wearing this-
It looks like I'm insane.
I'm wearing this like Walmart shirt. Like,
You look like a chill teenage Where's Waldo.
thanks.
Like a Who's Waldo, because you're a teenager. You're figuring yourself out and stuff.
You're both like checking into your camera, like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm insecure.
Yeah.
So, fun fact about this shirt, anyways, since we're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
I got this at Walmart and I was like, this is a nice shirt. No one's going to be wearing this. And I get to school and I wore it one day and I look around and literally like 5 people have the same shirt on. I'm like, I'm going to make it a point to never wear this shirt
Yeah.
again.
You gotta be careful. Yeah, I used
It
to
was
buy
like-
shirts from Target, but then everyone has them.
It's like, oh no. Like it was so, but like everyone wearing this shirt, it was like such different like types of people too.
It's
It
like in
was-
Friends, Phoebe hates Pottery Barn because then everybody has the same stuff.
exactly. But it was so funny because
Because they're
like,
too serialized, like Marvel movies.
oh my gosh.
Now,
I'm a big fan of Marvel movies.
what I want to get
I love
into
them.
that we got sidetracked was the art versus propaganda thing.
Yes.
And a big point I want to make about that before I just shit on a bunch of movies is that I had a huge problem with this when I started making films. And I don't think it was really until my last film, Black Roses, that I finally figured it out. because when I first started to write, I talked to my uncle about it, and I didn't think I could write, and he gave me these books to read. And a lot of them were very Christian based, and it was like how to write through faith and stuff like that, and how to like put a Christian message in your movie.
Yeah.
Needless to say, that was not helpful. And it basically taught me that every movie has to have a very specific meaning to push and to get out there. And that's propaganda.
Yeah.
And it's not interpretable, and it's not art. And so it's like all like The Love Hour is this way. My first short film is this way. The movie that I spent like a year and a half creating is almost completely
how's
this
that
way.
coming along? The movie.
Oh, the Natural Hero movie?
Yeah.
I don't know that it'll do anything. I really like it, and I like the characters, but I don't think it's worth making.
Sorry to sidetrack you, but
Well, no,
I mean,
I'd have to really figure out what I want to do with it, and I just think, I mean, it involves superheroes, and I just kind of set myself up for failure because I'm so done with these superhero movies already, and then I started writing I wanted it to be like a kick-ass kind of thing.
I remember that last year. You were like, "Man, I hate superhero movies." Like, well, not.
It's
you,
like
sorry.
an
You were just
anti-superhero
like,
superhero
I can't
movie.
stand it. And then I'm like, "What are you writing?" He's like, "Superhero movie," and I'm like, "What?"
If you want to read it, I'll show you. I'll give you the
Sure
script.
thing. I'd love to.
I don't know that I'd ever create it though.
I'll do it. Let me do it. Come on, we'll team up. We'll go together.
I'll let you look at it and see if there's anything salvageable in there. But when I created Black Roses, I did that in a rush because me and my boss James were talking about how we wanted to make a short film, and I was like, man, I'm ready to do this. So I like racked my brain, thought, what's a good idea? What's a cool way to start a film? What's this? And I finally came up and I just wrote it in like a day and a half. And then we did Black Roses. But I think Black Roses, because it was so rushed, was the first thing that I actually created that was really just art. Because as it's unfolding, and I think when it comes out, multiple people are going to see this and get different things from it. I didn't force any kind of meaning on it. Like I think it plays with. It's like a playground that plays with the dangers of jealousy in relationships. And I don't know. There's kind of a lot of different things you could get from it. It's kind of for the person viewing it to make their mind up about how they feel about it, really. And so that's what it took me so long to kind of figure out that I wasn't creating art as I was trying to push something on somebody else. And that's just not like,
it's not how you, that's not how you.
That's not how people come. It's like Inception. That's not how people like come to learn things. People have to figure things out for themselves. You can't tell somebody everything. You can't tell them every truth of the world because they won't like understand it. Like when you're a kid, when you first get your driver's license and your dad's like, hey, you got to go slow. He's like, yeah, I hear you. But he's like, you're not going to take it seriously because you're not going to really understand until you go really fast and you bump into a car in front of you, is what happened to me. I didn't get a wreck. I bumped a car and there was no damage, but I did have to pay $100 ticket.
So
but after that, I was like, oh, I'm going to go slow and pay attention. And it's just like a lot of things you just kind of have to figure out for yourself. And that's like how the brain works. And so that's kind of, I think what art does is it helps you figure out the world and also helps you discover who you are about these different topics. And so Christian movies are not that way too much. Christian movies are preaching to the choir, and they're also preaching very specific messages, and there's no way to get anything out, and also the acting is really bad.
So here's my problem with Christian movies. And I've talked with this about I talked about this with a lot of people, and I'm actually writing a paper over it right now for McGee's class. It's that there's so many ideas going to them, and they're all doing something different. First is the studios. Christian films have shown in recent years, especially, they can make a profit, and that's because you're taking into account the Christian media, and people are like, yeah, we got this. We can go make it. So studios, the biggest one is Sony. That's really the biggest of Christian films. They've been trying to do more Christian films. Then you have the filmmakers, and those are not filmmakers, sadly. They're preachers, and they are ministry people, and that's a good. And they're telling a sermon, and I think sermons are great things. I love going to church and watching a sermon. I don't think that should be how it is in film.
Yeah, they're not movies. They're
you're sacrificing character and development and all sorts of things like that. You're sacrificing story just to get this sermon across.
Yeah, they're not filmmakers. They're just preachers using film.
And then you get them, and the filmmakers are like, we could probably change someone's life by watching this movie, and you could, But
you can't
the
have
problem with that
you
is
can't have too specific of a goal with art because art kind of has a mind of its own and it's gonna do what it's gonna do. You can't.
exactly.
Art is not a magic trick, you know.
And I love to put faith-based things into my work, but I
Yeah.
don't like to do a straight up faith-based story where it's like, because I know, like, you know, I'm a man of God. I love the Lord, and I think that is important, at least to me. And but to just to put that in my work, it shows a lot of people. Then they just stop listening.
Yeah.
And that's a sad thing.
Yeah.
But it's also like what you said. It's the difference between propaganda and art. And so that's like with Daisy. Like I said, I added there's a lot of like Christian undertones in Daisy, but it's not it's not really about that. And I hope someone can realize, like through the story I was telling, even with The Watcher that I just wrote, it's like it's about angels in heaven, but it's more of a comedic take.
Have you seen Believe Me?
I have not seen Believe Me. What's that?
It's got God, what's the guy's name? Have you seen Chronicle?
Yeah.
It's got the guy from Chronicle, not
Dane or not Michael B. Jordan.
Not Dane and not Michael B. Jordan. That
so
other guy,
the other
cousin.
guy.
Yeah, he's the main character, and it's got some guy who looks like a young Christian Bale, but he's a little chubbier. And
so Christian Bale from
and then
Vice.
Two other guys, and it's also got the girl who plays Jenny Matrix in BGHS. But it's very interesting. It's not the best movie I've ever seen, but it's one of the better. I guess you could call it a Christian movie, but it's much closer to art. It's not. I don't think it's trying to push anything specific. It lets you kind of make up your mind about it.
See, that's how I felt about. Have you seen I Can Only Imagine?
No,
The recent film. Okay, so this was made by Pureflix.
I intentionally don't watch Christian movies,
I get that.
and so if it's really good,
It's
it
is good.
I might go watch it.
So Pureflix is what I think is one of the worst Christian film people out there right now.
Mhm.
Nothing against them. I get you're trying to do something nice.
Yeah.
But they're just all of the films they make.
Go to
They're
hell, Pureflix.
I'm
just kidding.
Just keep in mind, I did not say that. But they're all of
I
their
debated on
films-
whether I was going to say it,
they did the God's Not Dead films. So
which are not very good.
exactly. But they did I Can Only Imagine. And I Can Only Imagine is a story about the band Mercy Me and how they kind of came to for like the Christian band Mercy Me.
Yeah.
And so I really enjoyed it. And
So it's like a biopic.
it is a biopic. But it's like it's good. And you know why it's good?
Why?
Because they told the story of the guy and they kept his morals intact and they told a story about God. But through all of that, it was still his story
Mhm.
and they were telling something. And that I think could change people's lives because it's an actual thing that happened.
Well,
and
another problem that Christian movies suffer from that Believe Me doesn't is that Christians are all perfect people. And it's another thing. It's like
that's a sad thing. I really hate that because
a lot of
perfect people.
the feminists are trying to create these icons for women in movies, and I think there's nothing wrong with having a woman leader to look up to,
like
but
Captain
but it's
Marvel
not-
and Wonder Woman.
You
doing
can't
the-
just make one in a bottle, because a huge problem is when you want to make an icon can do no wrong, right? Because who
Mhm.
could relate to someone who does wrong sometimes?
Yeah.
But it's like you look at Sigourney Weaver in Alien, and they
Oh.
weren't trying to make an icon with her, but
But they
she
did.
became one
Or even
because she struggles and she's not perfect and she messes up and does stupid, like shameful things.
Sarah
Because
Connor.
we all do.
in
Yeah.
the Terminator movies. Like that's a great example. Like they freaking like the
But-
whole first movie of the Terminator, she's just like this. She's like, oh, damsel in distress. But you
Yeah.
get to the second film, she's strong and she knows what she wants and she goes
Right.
after. And everyone loves her. She's one of the most classic movie characters. It's
That's
crazy.
the thing is I think with Black Panther and with Rey and Star Wars, and I love The Force Awakens,
I love Ray.
but
do this.
I think the problem is that Rey
Yeah.
is too perfect.
Yeah, I don't like Ray.
oh, guys,
personally-
I
come
like
on.
Rey. I like Rey,
I
but I
like
think
Rey.
she's
She's
too
a strong
perfect.
character,
Yeah,
but
she's not
interesting.
relatable enough
Yeah,
because
she's not that interesting.
she doesn't do anything shameful. We all do shitty things sometimes, and that's important to see.
Her
Maybe
parents
she'll do
is kinda
something
like,
shitty in episode
Spoiler alert for Big Fish.
Oh yeah,
But in Big Fish, I'm pretty sure
I've
from
never
my
seen that.
recollection.
I don't know if
You've never seen the movie?
No, I'm kidding. I have seen the movie.
Okay.
I
But
was
in
in
the
a play,
movie-
Big Fish.
They either said or they implied that he had an affair, right?
No, he does not have an affair.
I was pretty sure in the movie they left it open ended
I can't remember. I think maybe in the movie. I'm not sure. It's
because
been
I
a while.
always knew that. And then I saw the musical, and the musical
He
she
said that
explains the story and says, "No, we didn't have an affair," like straight up. And he was like, no, I'm married. Like this perfect gentleman. And not to say that every man has an affair. Don't have an affair. It's bad. But that was the one thing that it was like.
That's not what I got out of it.
It was this idea that the son was like, man, I knew he was a shitty guy deep down. And so he had an affair. But it took him realizing, oh, my dad is actually perfect. That was wrong of me. But that's not the thing. It should be like, oh, yeah, like people do shitty things, but that doesn't make them shitty people, you know?
What I got from that was that he almost had an affair, at least in the. I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen.
What
it.
I got from the movie, yeah, it has been a while for me too. But what I got from the movie, and I've seen it a couple times, I'm pretty sure they left it open ended, and the idea was that they were implying that he had some kind of affair.
Maybe, I don't know. I just haven't seen it. I honestly can't remember.
Which I just think it's important because we're so. It's so easy, I think, in a culture of these icons who are perfect to like hate on people that do any wrong. Like we bring up these things that people said on Facebook forever ago, or like what Chris Rock did 10 years ago.
Oh my
because
gosh.
like, listen, buddy, everybody said something shitty. Maybe you're one of the lucky ones and what you did or said that was shitty wasn't caught on tape.
That's why
maybe you got away with it. But you've done something shitty. We all do.
That's why I like a lot of those superhero movies.
Yeah.
Like they showed that. Like
Well, that's part of the structure. Part of the structure of a good movie is the rise and then the fall and then the
the
resurrection.
Even
the
then,
Jesus story.
They still do pretty shitty things. Like
Did you just play footsie? Was that your foot?
Yeah, it's my foot.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Chill out. Okay.
So like take Iron Man for example. That's why
I feel so alone.
that's why I like those like
you can play footsie with the desk.
You bring up the serial arc, but Iron Man's the same way. Like he's a perfect character for that. He starts out as a very bad person.
What? I bring up the what?
The serial arc, where it's like they're not
It's called the serial arc?
No, like I don't know what it's called. Just the big arcs that he goes through in all the films.
Oh, okay.
Like the way
I said they were serialized.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
So like he starts out in Iron Man 1 as like
I have to apologize.
it's okay. As like a terrible person, but then he gets better through Iron Man, but he's still kind of a douche. Like in Iron Man 2, like he's like, I don't really care.
Yeah.
But you get to like the Avengers and he's like, I realize now that this is important. But even then he still does like really terrible things. Like he creates Ultron. He's like, I'm not going to talk to my team about this. Bam. I'm going to create this robot that could probably kill people. Who knows? Not even ask Thor about it, who knows the most about that
here's
stone.
the same thing in reverse order or backwards, which is in Breaking Bad. So
yes, that's a great example.
Oh, such a good concept.
Well, he had a very weak character, so he was completely taken over by this evil, and he became a bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
But it also showed him doing some good things sometimes, and you're conflicted, and you're like, I have no idea how to handle this.
That's what I loved about that show.
But he's not a good guy just because he's done good things.
Okay, can I spoil Breaking Bad, or should we just not spoil Breaking Bad?
It's been out for what?
No, but it's the perfect story. What? How big of a spoiler
I was going to
is
spoil. It's the scene.
How early is it?
Season 2 or 3.
Those are the good seasons.
You talking about Jane?
Yeah, I'm talking about Jane.
Oh.
Okay. A major spoiler for Breaking Bad.
It's not a big story plot, so
it is
a big deal.
It's a pretty big deal. If you don't want it to be
talking about
spoiled
when
and you
she-
haven't seen
yeah.
Breaking Bad,
Okay.
click away for what?
yeah, click away for about 30 seconds. Go ahead.
For a minute. or
Okay,
so.
I'm about to spoil Breaking Bad
And
now.
go.
So when
When-
he kills, like he just lets Jane die,
He doesn't really kill her,
Like,
but
yeah,
he
but like,
lets her die.
and then like the next scene,
And
he's
that
just
makes it
holding-
relatable. That's what's so interesting. It's like,
and then he's just
of
holding
course
his
you would
daughter.
save her.
Oh, well,
But
it's
his
so hard
motives-
because she was being such a bitch to him, and she
Yes,
was like
but
ruining his life and threatening, like maybe telling
Mm-hmm.
the authorities, and he's like, I don't know what to do, and he's kind of freaking out, and then he's put in this place, and she starts to like choke, and his first reaction is, I gotta
Help
save
her.
this girl.
Then he's like,
Yeah,
but
he
then
runs
he's
over
like,
to her and
I'm
it
gonna be
stops
setting up my
instantly.
own doom if I save her because she's like a loose cannon and she's taking away Jesse and all this stuff. It's like,
You
It's
could
one of
see like
the-
oh my
he does
god,
that.
how could you do that?
it's one of the
That's his
most
character.
powerful.
He lets that get to him because it would screw up his business.
It's
He
one of
was
the.
that was his most interesting part of his character, in my opinion, because he
It's crazy.
in every situation that there was like that, he always reacted how everybody in the audience that was watching would, but then stopped.
It's
And
one of
thought about it, and that's what made him the bad guy. You
Yeah.
know,
it's one of the most
Oh, it was
powerful
so cool.
moments I think I've ever
Trippy.
seen in a show like that.
Yeah.
Because like I've seen Lost, and I'm a big Lost fan. I
haven't.
Lost.
That's J.J. Abrams, right? Or
It's
did he
J.J.
just do a few of them?
He created it, but he
Yeah.
directed like the first 2 episodes. If
Okay.
That's what you mean. But yeah, it was like it was like kind of his story.
Yeah.
But it's like same, like there are characters in Lost that do similar things like that start out like great people or start out as terrible people, and the more they go on, you realize, oh shoot, they're getting better or getting worse.
Another semi-Christian movie that's really good. Have you seen Leap of Faith with Steve Martin? And Liam Neeson.
I haven't seen Leap of Faith.
It's very, very, very good. He plays one of those
Steve Martin was it?
Steve Martin plays one of those evangelicals or whatever that's like gets people on stage and heals their blindness in front of people, and he casts out demons or whatever while wearing one of those like in sync 90s mics or
Oh
whatever.
my gosh.
It was very, very, very good movie. And another movie. Have you seen The Exorcism of Emily Rose?
No, and I don't know if I want to see The Exorcism.
That's a good one. That's the closest thing to a Christian horror movie I've ever seen.
Wasn't like The Exorcist also kind of a Christian horror movie?
I haven't seen The Exorcist yet. And you know what? I should. I was talking to someone about this the other day.
I haven't seen it.
It's a classic horror movie, but my dad freaked me out about it because my dad told me this, what I believe to be an urban legend. I haven't actually looked it up in all my years. My dad said stuff like that people actually had heart attacks watching it.
Oh yeah, that actually that happened.
Okay, you know what? But we're gonna be fine. And my dad freaked me out about it, and he told me how awful it was, and how he watched it when he was a teenager, and my brother wanted to watch it, and it ruined his life.
Oh my gosh.
So I've been so scared of it. But
I've
you know
been
what?
scared of
I'm
it
gonna
too.
watch it because
But
it's a classic.
It's not that scary, honestly.
See, like,
Back
well,
then, it was terrifying, but now
it's not scary. Like what I've heard from people who've seen it, I've never seen it, so
I've seen the pictures of the girl though. The girl doesn't look that scary. You know,
she turns out to be. But
I'm
what
sure she acts
I-
scary, but she doesn't look that scary.
what I've heard about it is that it's not scary, like, but when you start to think like about it, then you're like, oh shoot, this is freaking scary.
Right.
Like
There's a new short film I want to give a shout out to, or I don't know if it's new, but I just found it. It's called Don't Look Away. You can look it up on YouTube. It's a horror short film. I think it's like 5 minutes long.
what's it about?
Uh,
Can I look at it or should I look away?
yeah, I don't want to tell you what it's about just because it's so good. I don't want to give any of it away.
I'll check it out.
You should. Yeah, you should. It's a very interesting concept, and acting's bad because it's a short film, but
Oh, can I ask?
but acting's normally bad in indie short films.
shout out to the bad actors.
So I was
Right,
talking
right.
to.
But it's still a pretty good film.
I was talking to a guy yesterday, Rob. You know Rob goes to Hardin Simmons.
Robert Taylor
Jr. I didn't know he was in a short film with you. I was like, oh, that's so cool.
He was in a short film with me.
Like, what was it called? Can you trust the Bible?
Oh, the World. Yeah. So I work for Ripple of Light, and we work for a company called World Bible School that's based out of Austin, and we make all these small kind of sermon series videos for them.
Yeah.
And one of them was called "Can I Trust the Bible?" Yeah, and I was the AD on that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
He was talking about
that was the
with-
first thing I worked on.
I don't know how it got
worked
brought
on
up
with him,
But he was
He's
like,
a
I was
cool
in his
dude.
short film, and Jordan Mathis, a friend of ours, close friend of both of ours, he
Yeah.
was like, what short film were you in? I was like, Jordan, what?
I think Jordan was there.
Yeah, he said he was
Yeah.
like, I was in that too. I'm Jordan.
You guys
I'm
stop
like,
hitting the table price. You're freaking me out.
That's
So-
what I was just about to say.
Also, it shows up on the mic. These are mounted into the table.
I'm so sorry.
No, you're good. You're
am
just
I the
freaking
first?
everybody out.
Am I the first guest that ever hit the table?
You're the first guest who's there. This is new. This is a new
Oh,
table.
Shoot, this is
Well,
a
the
nice
table isn't new. It's new to me.
This like blends into the table too.
Ah, thanks, man.
It's awesome.
You are. We're not to the end yet, but you are the first. I'm gonna start a tradition, and you're the first guest since we've had the table, and I want you to sign the table.
Oh, thanks, man.
We're
Awesome.
gonna do it live.
You guys ready for this? I'm the first guest to sign the table. Wait,
don't go crazy.
so like if I come back again, do I get to sign it again? Or can I like put like a 2 next to it? So it's like price Payne sec. Because I know you
Maybe
have
put like a tally, maybe.
I know you have people like that come back every
Yeah,
once
maybe you could put like a tally next to it. What a signature price.
in a while. Is that a bad signature?
No, it's like mine, which is like you can recognize one letter pretty much and then squiggly lines.
Well, it's like 'cause
Mine
I have
is-
my name is Price Payne, so I just do one.
I'm gonna
big
put mine
thing.
right here.
Does
mine.
Jacob get to sign it? Because he's been a guest. Before.
Yeah, I'll let him sign in a minute.
Woohoo.
Okay, yeah, you can sign it, Jacob. You can
Come on, Jacob,
don't
get in
hit
the camera.
Wiggle
I'm
on
gonna
over
try
here.
and- Yeah. Okay.
Put Capri Sun Man under like.
I've been on here for 2 times now, so I get to put a tally. I'm just kidding.
Well, you're like a
You're
co-host
not
now.
on it though right now.
You're not a guest.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
You're part of it. Because I've been on it like
Oh, now that
12 times now.
Look at this man's signature.
That looks freaking
That's
good.
so
I know. I got a
good.
very
That's
good signature.
way better than ours.
Oh my gosh.
Look at prices, like 2 squiggly lines.
Oh, it's
Price, is
terrible.
there any method to that madness?
What do you mean?
Like, Is that just squiggly lines, or are you going for something?
Well,
there?
it's price.
I've worked on my
And then
signature since the
Payne.
Okay,
computer
yeah,
started.
I can see.
But it's one big P.
Oh, I get the
because-
P's for both. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
I've
cool.
actually given out probably like 20 or 30 signatures. To
Mine's just
random
my
people.
initials, so it's like J M, and then that's supposed to be a T, but it kind of looks like a
Jackson
Z, but it also
McGuire.
kind of looks like a 2. Isn't it? We're so cool. Sign this little table.
This is awesome.
Anyways, next question I want to get into, possibly last question, but why exactly did you go for silent movies? And second, why have you stayed with it? So you said like when you were writing Daisy, you saw a silent movie, and I guess that probably had part of the inspiration for it. But what is it about it that you created this? You created Silent Dove Films, which I guess everything under that title will be silent.
Not everything.
Okay.
We are hoping to branch out.
But
as of right now,
you have plans to make future silent movies.
yes.
Okay.
And the reason I like silent films, so I haven't seen a lot, but you can do so many different things with them, and
Yeah.
no one does them now.
Yeah.
But I think there's more you can do with them now.
Yeah.
And I don't think people have pushed that boundary at all. Because silent films, the thing with them, you're acting purely with your face.
Yeah.
There's no dialogue used there. It's
Well, you're in your body.
you can't. Some silent films, of course, do have dialogue.
It's
and then
kind of like being I used to be a mascot in high school, and it was a big thing. It's like you can't talk at all, and that's a big deal.
exactly.
And you have to and also you're so consumed in this big suit. So if you walked like normal, you couldn't even tell you're walking. So you have to walk like you're on the moon, and you become this big caricature.
yeah.
So it's interesting. You have to. It's like acting wise, you have to exercise different muscles.
And it's a challenge I like to give to some people. Like we're doing Sleepover right now, and Sleepover's hard comedy.
Yeah.
And it's that one's really just a pure homage to classic like Buster Keaton, stuff like that. And it's a challenge for Spencer Castleman's.
What's
in
the
it.
ETA on that?
It's I don't. What do you mean the ETA on it? What do you mean?
Estimated time of arrival.
Probably this summer. I'm gonna
Okay.
say in this summer.
Is it lengthy?
It's not lengthy.
Okay.
It'll probably be. It's gonna be longer than Daisy, but
Yeah.
it won't. It won't be like. that.
I'm totally understanding of production hell, because it's just it takes so much longer than you imagine, because even pre-production took so much. This is like Black Roses is the first film that I'm doing right, and so it's just taking so much longer than I've anticipated. And every time someone asks about it, I'm excited about it, but I'm like, yeah, just wait. It's gonna be a while.
Yeah, I've been wanting to ask you. I was like, when is that coming? And I was like, you know what? After doing Sleepover, I'm just gonna wait out.
Yeah,
'cause
it's like people ask me, I'm like, I really don't know, man. Like, I
That's
hope
how-
soon.
I would keep releasing like little snippets of Daisy, and I was like, it's coming soon. And they're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
but when? And I'm like, just keep waiting. And
Yeah,
I
it's like
was
hard to tease. You understand why they release movie trailers like a year before the movie? It's
Yeah.
crazy.
So, so I think it's a good challenge for people, and it's
Mhm.
also a challenge in writing because
To do silent.
exactly. And you can take the drama route like Daisy was, and you have to convey that emotion through your face. And I think
Mhm.
Caleb did that really well. Personally, when he my favorite scene is where he's playing his guitar.
Mhm.
He's just kind of looking off and he's imagining the other scenes.
Yeah, when it goes back to
And
that's nice.
I was like, I really loved how he did that. And then comedy, and you have to play it bigger, and you have to be basically like you're a living cartoon.
Mhm.
So I think there's just this art form to it, and there's more you can do with it now.
Mhm.
Like you can take different stories that haven't been necessarily told at all, and you can do them in a modern day silent setting. Like you can tell stories about, and because more things are open too to be told.
Yeah.
You can back then it was very simple. It was just like you can only tell certain stories, and a lot of things were taboo in Hollywood
Mm-hmm.
that you couldn't bring up. But here you can take all these different routes and
Like
do
silent
different things.
porn. Yeah.
No, not like
Okay. I'm just
well-
kidding. I'm just kidding.
yeah, I know.
That'd be weird.
No,
he'd
you're
like
right.
he'd like show up with a pizza box and be like, and they'd be like,
They're like, oh, and
Yeah.
then it's that would be really funny to see
man.
something like that.
do you remember in the Drowsy Chaperone we had a line about porn that we couldn't say?
Yes, I remember that.
Did you ever hear what it was?
Yes,
'Cause
I
it was
did.
hilarious.
I did hear that.
I
I
was
can't
talking to-
remember what it was, but I do remember.
It was for like there was some weird song that played, and he was like, "I bet you're wondering what." Oh no, it was after the spit take scene. It's like, "I bet you're wondering what a stupid scene like that was doing in this play." And it's like, well, there were numbers that were coming, and they needed time for the other actors to change or whatever. And so it's like take pornography for
Yes.
example. It's like the classic example being, how can I pay for this pizza? It's like
because
he's
wasn't
like
it
some of
Lester
the-
that said you had Jay Lester, the head, he said, "Nah, we got to cut that."
Look at you saying names.
Oh, I'm so sorry. No, I didn't mean. Please don't get mad at me. I'm so
No.
sorry.
Okay, yeah. Well, let me clarify. I believe it was him. I don't blame him at all.
Oh, I
for
don't
doing
blame.
that,
No, I don't
though.
blame anyone for that. It was. It does
So
make sense.
like, we're not throwing him under the bus. Like he's just doing
His
what
job.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to say it was a bad. Like, it was a funny
Well,
line,
it's
but it was
weird
a high
because
school show.
It was high school. You know,
Mm.
there's. You think about it. I mean, I was a senior during it, so I'm like, come on, like we're adults here. But also, there's like little freshmen. Like freshmen are little,
You
man.
can't say that.
They're like
word.
14 and 15-year-olds.
So weird.
That's
yeah.
crazy.
You're
High
right.
school's so weird
It
that
is
we
weird.
have 14-year-olds with 19-year-olds.
I'm gonna be
That's
big someday.
bananas.
Sure thing, buddy. You're gonna
Yeah,
be-
that's crazy. Like, man.
So yeah, I do like the silent.
But
stuff,
I just want to clarify. I totally get what he was doing.
of course,
There were a lot of like, I totally think it's fine that we had to get rid of it. But it was sad for us because we were adults who weren't offended by it. We were like, man, like that was hilarious.
we
you know?
don't blame you.
Yeah, but I don't blame him at all. I think that it's perfectly reasonable.
See, and another thing that it also catches people's eye, the
Mhm.
silent thing, 'cause everyone's like, no one really does that, and I think that's something that'll catch a lot of people's like eyes when they're looking towards works or things like that, and they're like, that's something new, and I think that could be cool.
Yeah.
I have this idea right now. It's called like We Three Kings, and
Mhm.
it's about these three kings. That's
Is it?
Well, it's about these three. It's a silent film, of course, and it's about
Yeah.
these three kings that are kind of like they're princes, sorry, and their parents die, and they're triplets, and they're like, well, we don't remember which one of you was born first, so who's gonna rule? And they're like the whole film, they're like fighting about it or something like
What's
that.
the CGI budget for this one?
It's gonna be $2.
Oh, okay, cool. What I do think a good point about your silent movies is I think restricting yourself is important to grow. For example, a sonnet. When you want to write a sonnet, there are very specific rules. I don't know what they are. You'd have to look them up, but there are very specific rules to how to write a sonnet. It has to be like so many lines. It has to be this and that and this and that, and it kind of puts you in these tight spaces where you have to work around them, and it really exercises and works your brain to help you be a more creative, well-rounded person.
Exactly.
And the same thing with one act. There's so many random rules that you have to figure out a way around.
Tell me about it.
And I remember when I was first in one act, you're like, what are all these rules about? Like, they don't even make sense. They're like, every prop that you have ultimately all together can't weigh more than this many pounds, and you can't use this to attach this to this. Like, if you're using this kind of fabric, you can't do it on a Wednesday.
yeah,
like,
like so weird.
It was crazy. And then you realize over time, it's like, oh wow, like look at all the crazy like creative ways we worked around that, and we were able to figure this out. And that's the cool thing about one act is you watch and you like, remember we saw Golden Boy, which is this incredible one act.
Good.
It looks like we're really there. We're like, man, they were able to do this with all these crazy
We're
random
gonna
rules.
suck
Like,
it up.
I would love to talk to the director and be like, tell me like what all you had to figure out to
And
get this to happen.
One thing we've realized about that too is like also those people start like way earlier and they don't have musical and stuff to worry about. Some schools they're just like,
excuses.
yeah, those are excuses, but still some schools they're like, we're not doing musical, we're doing strictly one act. You guys are doing it.
Yeah.
And it's like, what? Okay.
I think it teaches you a lot to try really hard with one act.
For sure.
I think it's fine for you to not do it. I guess it's fine. I don't know. I came from a school that won state one act 2 years in a row, and then I went to a school that didn't get out of district 2 years in a row. So it was very bizarre for me. Like, it was a very weird experience, like total flip. It was fine. I loved Evelyn. I had a great experience. Better musicals, considering that Mason had no musicals.
Yeah, that's what I like about I like the musicals so much, and everyone's like, oh, why don't we just do? Some people are like, they would much rather do the musicals, and then some people are like, we need to focus more on one act. And it's just these are students I'm talking about, not necessarily teachers.
Right.
But I've heard two different sides, and I was like, I think the way we do it is honestly fine.
What I would do, off the top of my head, what I would do if I was in charge is I think probably 1 year I would dedicate to making a really good big musical, and the next year I would dedicate
doing a one act.
like maybe we do a small fall show in the beginning, and then the rest of the year is dedicated to one act, and then so every other year. So like if you're there for 4 years, you get 2 chances to be in a really hard worked one act. And then you also get 2 chances to be in a big musical.
That could be
So
interesting.
just every other year,
I
you just
think-
trade off because, people are in there for 4 years. So everyone's going to get a chance.
I think though that's just like I talked with Kyle Martin about this the other day. Just like with the musical, it's a good chance to get people into theater. Like take
Mhm.
Andy Escobedo for example, who's
Yeah.
a friend of ours. He's was he never would have done that, but like he got into and just he fell in love into.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to compare because in Mason everybody does everything. Like the cheer captain is also the quarterback, is also the lead actress, is also the math tutor, is also the everything.
See, where I was from before Abilene, it was like nothing like this existed. So
Yeah.
it was like you did sports or nothing else.
Right.
But so I think like just the musical is a good way to get like a lot of freshmen too, and a lot of kids who don't know if they like it or don't know if they want to be a part of it into it. And I think senior directs are that same
theater
way.
is so important for people in high school, even if you don't intend to do theater ever again. Like being in a production and acting in a production, I think is important because you're developing basic cognition skills that you need to know.
Exactly.
Because there are certain people that work at Whataburger that that sounded like I was talking about specific people. I mean, people at Whataburger. People who work at Whataburger are always so awkward. I don't know if it's part of the interview, but like every time I go to order at Whataburger, I feel uncomfortable.
I get that.
And that's why In-N-Out is so much better because their workers are very, very nice.
Dude, I got animal style fries in In-N-Out the other day.
Dude, I went all the way to San Jose. It was a 4-hour flight. I went to In-N-Out and I felt right at home. They were so kind to me.
Well, also because they have to wear those like super awesome outfits.
They're amazing.
Like at Whataburger, they're just like, I'm tired.
I want to own
and I love
In-N-Out.
I love Whataburger. I don't want to say anything bad to Whataburger because
Whataburger?
Whataburger.
I'm not a huge fan, but it's fine. I'm fine with people liking Whataburger. But what I'm saying is that
I just can't wait to see the description.
People who can't function in society and can't talk to people when there's groups around. And I'm like, this is an important skill for you to learn to be able to function.
I think it's important for this is just a personal thought. I think it's important for every kid at one point in their life to be in a play or a show, just because it does teach things. It doesn't mean you have to be the lead. That doesn't mean anything like that. And it doesn't mean you have to. I just think it is important. And I think it teaches them a lot of different things, and it teaches them about different people.
Yeah.
Because like with sports, you're kind of like football, basketball, you're kind of all the same person. You're all there for the same reason. For theater, everyone is there for a different reason. Everyone performs in a different way, and everyone does a different thing. All accounts, the techs, the directors, even actors, all from different backgrounds, different things are happening, and you get to learn different things about them.
It's also important to just try new things and to just I mean, we only have one life, and so why would you do the same thing for your whole life? Oh, that's so like,
yes, sir.
Feels like such a waste. I don't want to say that it is, but it feels like it. Jacob, are you in theater right now? What are you doing with your life?
He's in sports.
Oh yeah, you're in football, right?
Yeah.
Oh, but football's over.
But they're doing a musical Shrek.
He's gonna play Shrek.
Yeah,
are you gonna do it?
I talked to the person, and there's nobody goes to Clyde, and nobody does the theater thing.
Yeah.
I'm pretty guaranteed to be Shrek, and I'm
oh my god, that'd be great.
I'm so
Is Shrek the musical?
Yes.
Okay, awesome.
No, Shrek
so
the movie
excited.
too. The live action
You're gonna
movie.
do the-
Clyde.
It's gonna be great.
That's
Seriously.
awesome, man.
And they have a pretty dedicated department to the theater junk because there's this kid. They did the
you
Addams
just say
Family.
theater junk?
Theater junk, yeah.
Oh wow.
Go ahead, it's okay. I'm not offended.
I'm offended.
I don't believe in offense. I think it's a made up thing. Keep going.
They did the Addams Family this year, and there was a kid that had to shave his head straight up.
That's
to be
freaking dedication.
Uncle
I want
Not a bald
to
cap,
meet
not
that
anything.
kid.
He had a bald head, and one of the girls had to dye her hair. I mean, they take it pretty seriously, and the kids who are in it, they're pretty good, and they're doing one act right now, and I wanted to be involved, kind of, but
I'm gonna shave my head. Is that a bad idea?
Did you see
I mean,
Clyde's
if you wanna-
Susicle last year? It was
I
really
want to get
good.
tattoo sleeves and shave my head.
I'm getting a tattoo in a
I think that'd be
couple
kind of
months.
badass, honestly.
Wouldn't it? I think it'd be cool. I gotta
could
get more in
slap your
shape
head
to do
and
it.
I could walk by and just give it a good.
I don't want to be the big fat guy with the bald head. So I want to get more in shape.
No offense to big fat guys with bald heads out there.
I mean, that's my.
They're scary.
I'm so all
ever seen
all
those
my
motorcycle
relatives
riders?
are what?
Motorcycle riders, they're bald and they're fat and with beards, and they're terrifying.
Beards like. It's weird because if you have a well
saw
kept
me
up
with a
beard,
beard.
if you have a well kept up beard, that can really show that like someone's like. I don't know, like it doesn't intimidate. It shows that someone's like I don't know,
Like
kind, gentle, and kept up.
Like you saw
well
my
kept it, but as soon as that, like if he goes like a week without keeping it up, like immediately you're like, I might get murdered.
I look like like you saw me with my beard, right? Like I looked pretty.
I liked your beard. I thought your beard was cool.
I looked so different.
In fact,
I'm gonna grow it back actually over summer and trim it and keep it. I'm
Yeah.
gonna try and keep it, but like it looked so.
well, when I was driving up, there was some guy who had a beard that looked similar to yours, and like it was kind of far away, and I thought it was you for a second. I was like, damn, he looks badass. And then as I was pulling up,
And then you were like,
I
oh
was
no,
like,
he's
wait,
still
Price
just.
doesn't have a beard. And then I saw it was like someone else, and I was like, oh, okay. And then I saw you without the beard, and I'm like, oh, it's Price. You look fine. You look good,
Yeah.
Price, but
I look nicer. I
you
think,
look cool with your beard.
Thanks, man.
You don't like it?
I didn't like the way I had it.
You
for
can
the
grow a
show.
better beard than I can.
Thanks.
Mine's all
can't
patchy.
I can't grow a mustache though. Like that's what sucked. Like I can't grow a mustache. And I didn't like the way I had it for the show because like if I had my choice, I would have kept it.
The only thing I can grow out is like this. That's it.
Dude,
Well,
my dad
even
has
right
that.
even right here where the mustache connects to the chin.
The
It's
mustache,
like it's a little
the
weak.
chin mush.
So I can't even if I have a goatee.
Goatee.
It's a little.
Even
it's a
if I
little,
have goatee, it still makes me look like a little baby.
great.
Yo, I like Mickey Mouse. I am from America.
What was it? Was it when Jacob was on the podcast? He was trying to get me to do accents, and I wouldn't do it.
I can
You
do
wanna do
accent.
an Irish
Jacob,
accent.
Jacob, oh, you can. I'm top of the morning to you. Why can't you do an Irish accent?
I'm just
Bunch of
afraid to get
acting
burned.
jerks.
What are you talking about?
I'm
what's
just
wrong
how
with you?
good we can do
accents. This is Swedish.
Can you see the
Swedish actually.
signature on the table?
Jacob, you can. Barely. A couple.
Any good comments?
No, nobody's commented recently.
We've had 3 since you haven't read.
Yeah, there's one guy with like
Oh, that
the
was a
prayer,
long time ago,
the
though.
prayer
Okay.
hand.
So one of them, he said, "Thank you for the spoilers," and that was when we were talking about Breaking Bad.
Hey, we
Aw,
warned.
We warned
Yeah.
you
We
like
warned so
8
hardcore.
times.
No, he said thank you for the spoiler. He paused
Warning.
it and didn't even.
Cool.
So it was
Okay,
like a
cool.
thank you.
Oh, okay.
I'm on board now.
And then this wantless pizza guy has been commenting quite a bit. He said, "Don't spoil anything," or he said, "No." He said, "Spoil anything
Sorry.
you want. I don't care. I probably watched it or even going to." Watch it."
Bruce Willis was a ghost
Ooh.
the entire time.
Oh shit! Come on.
I'm gonna spoil Lego Movie 2
Darth
for
Vader
all
is
of you.
Luke's father.
Lego Movie 2. Spoiler.
Wait, I haven't seen it.
No, I got him spoiled.
Is it out yet?
Yeah, it's out. I'm gonna spoil
Dude,
it
I
for you
want
right
to go
now.
see it.
Wait,
Yeah.
which one?
Lego Movie 2.
And
Here's
there's
the
some weird
big
beef
spoiler.
going on between Chris Pratt and what's that girl's name? Juno? What's her name?
Ellen Page.
Ellen Page.
Why? What? There's
I don't know. I
beef?
read something about that
I
in
didn't
what
know.
Google articles.
I don't know.
That's how I get my immediate news is from my Echo.
Why would Ellen Page be on
And
like, beef
Google
with Chris
articles.
Pratt? Ellen Page.
I don't know. Journalists kind of make stuff up sometimes when there's nothing going on. So
Nothing
it's
against Ellen
quite
Page. I
quite
love Ellen Page.
possibly not happening at all.
Okay. Any final thoughts, guys? We're hitting the 2-hour mark just about now.
Shoot. Awesome.
Oh yeah, because you got to get out of here at some point, right?
Yeah, that's him. But like,
Oh, he is
as
good
long
at
as
here,
I'm
too.
out before like 3:30 or 4, like,
Oh, yeah?
good. Yeah, I'm good.
Forever.
If you want to keep going, I'm good to go as well.
Okay.
We just
Do you
want
want? Let's,
What time
let's,
is it right
let's
now?
go for a minute. I mean, let me see. Let's see if I have any other. What is your What is your goal? I don't know if we ever got into what is your goal, like what you want to do
So
with film or what film means to you, I guess.
what film means to me is it's a medium, like kind of like what a lot of people think. It is an escape, but it's a medium to express yourself.
I'm gonna go get a Coke real quick, but
okay,
you
can you
keep
give me-
talking.
can
I'm
you
gonna
give me a root-
I'm gonna be able to hear you over there.
I'll go
You
grab
get me
it.
a root beer.
I got you, Jackson. I'm like the intern guy. That's like gonna be my job.
So what it means to me, speaking to everyone out there in cyber world, is that it's basically a medium to express yourself, and that's in more ways than just making one. You can watch it and you can feel expressed. You can watch it and feel different, and it's just it's a great thing. Film does so many different things to people. People, can you give me a root beer, Jackson? Yeah, like people are inspired by horror films. People are inspired by the action. Everything inspires someone, and it's a great way just to live out. Ooh, awesome. Just gonna-
Why does everybody crap on Coke Zero?
So you say, why is everyone crap on
The lighting just changed, by the way,
What?
quite a bit.
Was it because I left?
blue?
It's
Why
very
is everything
it's
blue?
tinted blue now.
I don't know how that happened. Maybe it was used to my yellow shirt and it readjusted. That's freaking me out.
That's weird.
Yeah, the color adjustment was used to probably your colored shirt.
Because I think the white balance is on auto right now. That's weird. Okay. Anyways, keep going. Sorry about
I'm
the
blue. If I was green, I would die.
Good one. So you say film inspires and you want to inspire.
I want to not just like inspire, but I just want to show people joy. That joy is just this beautiful thing in film, and I want to show them it's okay to be sad in
Yeah.
all of my films. I think that's what I want to show people is ultimately joy, and that it's okay to feel other emotions.
That's
and not
really
always have to-
important. I think that's cool because like it's all part of like the balance between order and chaos. You get like the verse that says, there's a time for sadness and to mourn, and there's a time for dancing and happiness.
Exactly.
And so it's like, I don't think happiness is the goal. Happiness is not ultimately fulfilling.
No, joy is the goal.
Yeah.
Happiness is fake.
Like true deep fulfillment and connection with God is the
Exactly.
goal. It's not.
And don't let that, because if you're happy with something, don't let that be a bad thing. Because you can be happy. I'm just saying happiness.
Yeah,
is
but like
it's a temporary.
Well, here's the thing:
feeling.
people they don't have to try not to be happy because they're going to not be. I think it's just the people who can't stand not being happy, the people who can't handle sad movies or movies that don't have perfect endings. But that's not realistic.
Yeah.
Like, because if you set that up for yourself, that everything is perfect, and like these icons we were talking about that have no struggles and they never mess up. First of all, I think it's a big important thing for people to understand there's a path to redemption from the shitty things you do.
Yes.
And so the idea that was cool behind that we thought of this guy in Big Fish as this perfect guy, but I'm sorry about that. This perfect guy. But he
had a perfect guy.
But he had an affair. And so it's like, if he didn't, and that's what made him a good guy, then some good guy at some time is going to have an affair. And poor guy, because all he's ever heard from all the media and all the movies he's seen and everybody around him is telling you it makes you a horrible, shitty person with no path to redemption if you ever have an affair. Like, I guess he's just fucked for life.
Like,
there's no path to redemption
The
for him.
Front Runner. What was it? Have you seen that?
The point is, it's important to know. Yeah, the Front Runner I've not seen.
They talk about that. It's about this political scandal. With,
is that a movie?
Yeah, it's based on a true story. Like Gary Hart,
Mhm.
he was running for president, and it was like the first time this big sex scandal, like when everyone said he had an affair, and he was like, that's none of your business, and everyone started freaking out. I was like, well, it is the country's business. Like, you're running for president, and then everyone like freaked out about it, and then he basically had to drop out of the running, even though he was like tapped to win.
Yeah.
It was, yeah. So it's like things like that. Like, nothing is perfect,
Yeah.
but you can still find joy in stuff that isn't perfect, and it's okay to be sad. It's okay to feel like things are shit once in a while.
Yeah.
That's just life.
There's a beauty, I think, in relatability to tragedy. I think there can be, God, I hate how blue it's become. I don't even know what to do at this point.
Red
I could.
is
You can mess
blue.
with it. Okay, so let me just interrupt for a second. There's a thing over there, Jacob, on the little toolbar that looks like a camera. No, on the computer, on the little toolbar on the bottom. See where all the icons are?
Yes.
There's a little camera-looking one on the right. See it?
Yes.
Click on that one. Okay, so go to the next page. Yeah, right there. And then I think there should be white balance. You have to take it off auto and mess around with it.
Okay.
That'll be fun.
Oh, there we're back to normal. All right.
You are back.
Okay, yeah. Anyways, the relatability in tragedy, because I think you can become too obsessed with darkness and the sublime nature of tragedy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's bad because it's all absence of balance is where the evil comes from. And so the point is that there's a time for this and a time for that and a time for that, but there's not always going to be a time for it. So it's good to be happy, but don't always be happy. Well,
that's what my
you
pastor
won't.
says. He
but
says
it's good to be sad sometimes, but don't always be sad.
That's what my pastor.
All about balance.
My pastor says that he goes. It's
Yin and yang.
Keeping it fresh.
we have a saying. He says it's okay to be not okay, but
Yeah.
it's not okay to stay not okay. And I know I said okay a lot, but it's
Okay.
That's just kind of like basic knowledge. Like, don't be too happy, don't be too sad. Find a happy medium.
You'd be surprised how many people just don't realize that. They think everything has to be great or everything in their life sucks.
Yeah.
And a lot of people just it's kind of sad that everything
It's all like
that's their view.
it's all
Yeah.
high schoolers and younger people though.
Yeah.
Older people are
Listening.
like, yeah, my life sucks. But
Listening to My Chemical Romance. You know what? I don't know if you guys were either of these people, but too many people at the end of the year always post like, here's some pictures from 2018. Ultimately a bad year, but I learned a lot. It's like,
it's so stupid.
what a way to look at your year, man.
That's why I said I was
It was
like,
a bad year. Oh
on-
my God, give me a break.
okay, I'm sorry.
No,
I put on mine. I was
ironic.
like, this
What,
wasn't.
did you say that?
No, I said this wasn't. I'm not gonna lie. This wasn't one of the best years of my life, but it wasn't one of the worst either. So
Yeah.
I guess is that the same thing?
No,
I did
it's fine. It's fine.
think about
It just
that.
sounded like people were like trying to fish for stuff.
I tweeted something pretty ironic about that topic. It was about I said 2018. Everybody's upset about 2018, but it was quite an epic year for me.
Yeah.
And I talked about how I went to the supermarket and this cute lady was at the desk, and I went over to kiss her, but she pepper sprayed me. But at the very end, I was like, but she missed. So
Yeah.
So great year.
Good. Well, I think my end of the year, just because it was reminding me of it, my end of the year post was a quote from this essay that I'd written because I was trying to figure out exactly what I want to do and exactly what I want to create with film. And I wrote this whole essay about I went through this dumb, shitty time during senior year, during like the middle of senior year, and I got into a darker place than I'd been before. And I don't know. It wasn't like I was like sad, emo, depressed, but it was like I felt like I had discovered that people can't be honest, like they don't have that capacity, and I discovered that love and true beauty was something that humans made up because they couldn't stand to think anything else.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's too bad, you know. It's like, man, I figured it out, and I can't unfigure that out, you know. And so it was just like really bland. Like life became really sad and bland. And it wasn't until towards the end of the year when I was like, fuck that. I'm not living this way. I'm not going to do that. Like, I believe truly that there's some kind of beauty out there because I know that I've seen it before, and I'm not going to let go of that. And so like the summer was really kind of weird for me. And, but I wasn't stopping. And it wasn't until like the last semester towards the end that I really began to find the beauty. And it wasn't even until a while after that I started to recognize what it was. It's like I found the beauty, but for a while I didn't even know, you know, because things are right in front of you and you don't realize it. And so I wrote this whole essay about that, and that it can seem so much that it's not real. But I think my excerpt was like, no matter what, no matter how difficult it seems or how much the world is like pushing you down, like keep trying, keep searching for the beauty. You will find it. I promise. Like it's there. And the thing is, it's not an overnight thing. You can't just decide I'm not going to be depressed today. It's like a constant, like I'm not going to be. It's like carrying your cross every day. It's like I'm going to like trudge through and I'm going to figure it out, you know. And it's going to take a while. It's not going to happen overnight. But it's just like,
and that's why I was telling Jacob. That's why I'm so ready just to get out.
Just do it.
Hey, just
You
guys,
sounded just like Buff.
You gotta just do it.
Just
You
do
know?
it. I was telling Jacob earlier before you got here.
I hope other people in this office building don't freak out for me yelling.
I was like, I just
realized there's other people.
I'm just so ready to get out of high school because it's literally, and like I found myself doing the same thing too, but it's like it's nothing but drama, and it's like
High school? Oh, dude, at the end of senior year, because everybody talks about everything. Like everyone makes up shit about everything.
Yes,
and so everyone at Abilene High like hates me because of all. Probably some stuff I actually did, and then also that a bunch of people made up.
I'm going to apologize because I've been a part of some of that. But
that hates me?
No.
Did I do something to you?
No, you didn't. No.
Did someone say I did something to you?
No, Jackson, I am apologizing right now. I will tell you. I love you, man. You're good.
My hand.
Yes, you're just a good friend, and this start of
why
this
are you
year,
apologizing? That made no sense.
Let me.
I don't know.
I'll explain
because
later.
you were part of the people hating on me.
I was a part of some of that at the beginning of the year. And it's just
Stupid Jackson in your stupid face.
I know.
That's all I have
I
to
just
say.
think like, okay, so like at the end,
matter. That's the
much
other
like
thing.
you, towards the end of my junior year, I was in like a really depressed spot,
Mhm.
and I went to camp and I found my renewed my joy,
Mhm.
and I was like, this is why like I have to live, like
Mhm.
this. And I started becoming great friends with Caleb Queen, and Caleb is a great person I think to be friends with. Just like we have some good talks.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it just it helped me further my work like that I want to do and things like that. And I felt it was actually really cool because I was praying about it, and I was like, I know I love like theater and all this stuff, but I'll quit just for God. Like I will do it. And I prayed about it, and then at camp, I just remember God saying, "Nah, you're good." And I was like, "What?" I was like, "But I'll preach. I'll do all this." And He said, basically to me, it's like I feel like I'm connecting to people in that way through film and through acting, and I can show people that. And
Yeah.
I think when I'm on stage or when I'm creating film, that's my ministry.
Well, I think that's what I was writing in my essay, is that it's like what I want to do is I want to do this in any way I can, but I think the best tool that I can use is film to help people
exactly
find the beauty, but also to know that it's out there, to help people basically, I want to inspire people to not stop searching for the beauty in everything. But that's the thing. Beauty is God. Beauty and God are the same thing.
Exactly.
Ultimate beauty, ultimate truth, ultimate
Love.
yeah, love. That is God.
It's
That's
all
what it
God.
yeah. And so it's like it's there, and it just seems so easily like it's not there, because it's weird that the world can just be completely made up by your perception. So we're sitting in the same room right now. All of the same stuff is happening to us right now, but we could be experiencing two different things. Okay, not to be gross, I had a conversation with somebody else about the same subject the other day, but we were talking about masturbating. Just gonna throw that out there.
Ooh,
As
fun
you're
topic.
taking that sip. But the thing is like it like f's up your brain, man. It like turns you into this gross sexual monster, and like literally, so like sometimes on a day when you're not doing anything and you don't see anybody and you masturbate, like it ruins your perception of the world around you. And so it just like this world becomes a dark place where everything is sexualized and there's no, like everything is shallow, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and
I never saw that.
I could have 2 days that were the exact same, but one day I masturbated and it's just like ruined the day, ruined my perception of everything that happened that was the same on the good day. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I never saw it like that.
Well, it's weird, and so like
because as someone who struggled with that too, like
yeah, so it's like we could be living the same lives, but because of a certain mindset that I've taken, because I've been sad, like we all like, it's like severing our connection to God, because God exists within the connection. It's like when you think about it, everything is connection. So like that chair over there, that's over there technically, it's feet away from me.
yes,
But it's also in my head because I'm taking it in through my sensory receptors in my eyes, and it's going into my brain. It's now a part of me. That chair is inside of me. It's part of me. So is the whole world around me. It's all this connection. Like when I put my hands on this table, I can feel it. It's becoming a part of me. Like it's so crazy.
yeah.
But it's like when that connection is like severed, you lose a connection to God. And it's like the world feels like, when you feel that absence,
less.
it's like withdrawal. Basically, you feel that absence of connection, and it's like
that's not what you want to live through.
That's when you start to believe there's no beauty, because you can't feel it, because you started to
I
miss
see what
that.
you're talking about with the soda now.
I know, right?
It's like-
I don't feel like I've ever had to burp this much.
but yeah, like I completely.
Do you want coffee?
Man, you're like just trying to like you got donuts, coffee. Do you know how to treat your guests, man? This is
Thanks,
awesome.
man. I really want you to come back.
I hope that's you, man. But yeah, like I never saw it like that. I've always had that or put it into words like that.
I do want to say that when I said masturbating, Jacob couldn't stop giggling over there, like the whole
I wasn't
time.
giggling. I just remembered that you were like
said the
other-
word.
No,
I'm not trying to talk about it to be gross. I'm using it as a point.
You said the other
It's
day.
part of the world. I'm sorry. This is
Listen.
the place to talk about things.
You said the other day, me and somebody else was talking about it, and that was on our podcast. That was us.
No, well, I don't think I gave you
Have you
that.
talked about it 3 times?
Oh my!
I don't talk about it all the time. Okay, I said the other day. It was a few months ago, actually, that I had. I'm referring to a conversation with me and a specific person in my life.
Were you telling me
Well, then
not to
never
look
mind.
away?
Because we talked about it as well.
We talked about. I don't remember what we said about it. You need to go watch that podcast.
You were like,
What's that about Halo right there? Oh, you missed it. Swipe it. Swipe back.
Halo TV series is in the works.
Halo's
With
always
Steven
been in the
Spielberg
market.
is going to be the director.
Oh my
Are you
God.
kidding me?
Yeah. No, I'm not kidding you.
Dude, did you see the Twilight Zone trailer this week? Jordan Peele.
Jordan. Oh, oh my God. No, I haven't seen it.
Okay, you're gonna need to pull that up after this podcast is over because it's freaking fantastic.
Oh my
It looks
God.
good.
I'm so excited. I've heard about it, but
He's
I didn't know there was
hosting
a trailer for it.
Yeah, it's
It's a series.
a series. It's coming on CBS All Access, so you have to pay for it up there. But
Oh,
it's,
damn.
yeah, but
That's
it's
lame.
like they
It's
got
on Hulu.
Adam Scott, Kumail Nanjiani, the kid from Room. It's like all these famous actors and actresses, like just for the show. And I'm like, oh, that's
They
so
should do
in.
randos, because that's what Twilight Zone did.
Yeah, no, the Twilight Zone also had like one famous person every episode though. That like it was
Every
saying
now
that,
and
like
again.
William Shatner would show up and he'd be like,
That was the only famous
I'm
person I could think of.
William Shatner. Well, Art Carney was in it once.
You know, have you
And-
seen the movie?
I haven't, but I've
Because they
seen
remade that
I've
one that
seen-
William Shatner was in with what's his name?
John Lithgow.
John Lithgow. Yeah,
I
and that one was better.
someone died like on the set of the movie. Like
Yeah, that was
it's
really
like a
dark.
big
It was
story.
they were doing this like Vietnam shoot, and 2 kids died from like the blade of a helicopter. Like it
And
was crazy.
and the lead actor, like they both like all
Right,
three
and
of
they
them.
didn't know if they were going to release the movie because of it. But then what I would think, which is what they ultimately decided, was if they don't release the movie, then they died for nothing.
Yeah,
They literally
even
died for a movie that won't even be released. Like out of that, for respect for them, we need to release this now. That's
Even-
what I would think.
even Spielberg said he was like no movie's worth dying for, and I was like, yeah, I agree. Like, but that was so that is it was just that's insane. That whole story about it, it's crazy.
Well, they didn't die for the
No,
movie.
I know that's just what Spielberg said. Like I
Right.
was just quoting him. I'm sorry. I don't.
No, I know what you're saying. I'm just. And
They were like,
it might be out of context, but
Yeah,
that
it was
sounds
basically
kind of
he
like
was saying like no movie's worth dying for, and if we didn't release it for them, then they would have died for like what you said.
right.
So yeah,
I've lost faith in Spielberg. It's really sad.
did you watch Ready Player One?
Yeah, I lost faith in him because I hate that movie.
I loved Ready Player One. Now I didn't like the BFG, and that's
You're
when
like Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith loves everything.
no. Okay, I almost lost faith in Spielberg because I watched BFG and I liked it, but I
I haven't
was
seen
like
that.
Spielberg. No, and I was like, "What is he?" What? And I was like, "Because he's my favorite filmmaker. He's
Yeah.
the one like that basically got me to love movies."
He's
And
damn
I
good.
was like, "You better do."
Or he
this."
was damn good.
And Ready Player One's good, but it doesn't feel like a Spielberg movie either. It just kind of feels like something
Feels very undercooked.
yeah, it feels like something that could have been made by
Definitely propaganda.
like James Gunn, maybe. I feel like James Gunn probably could have done Ready Player One.
He probably would have done better with it.
But then I think back, I'm like, you made Jaws, you made Raiders, you made
The
all these
last
great-
really good movie that he made,
Catch Me If You Can.
which Catch Me If You Can.
One of my
And
favorites.
I haven't seen anything that even nearly gets close to that.
I thought Bridge of Spies was good, but again,
Bridge
it
of
just
Spies was
didn't
good,
feel
but it wasn't.
it
Like
wasn't
Spielberg
Spielberg.
good. Yeah.
like he has done. Like last one actually, The Adventures of Tintin. That's probably my last favorite good Spielberg movie because
I haven't seen that yet.
it's so good. It's because I remember watching it and I was like, it was made in 2011. It's a motion capture movie, so
Yeah.
it's like all motion capture, but it's really good and
Yeah.
it like takes back to like a lot of how he did Indiana Jones and things like that. It's really good. I enjoyed it. Cool. Yeah. Any last thoughts? I guess.
I don't know. Is there anything that you want to clarify about anything you talked about, so
No.
we don't get sued?
Just that you forgot to mention we try not to be offensive when you open this podcast.
No, I know. Okay, so I realized that like 5 minutes in that I didn't do my intro, which is welcome to the popcorn space. The idea for or the place for free thought and ideas. Feel free to speak your mind, but try your best not to be offensive.
I hope that.
So I got it in just now in the
hope
nick
that
of time.
I hope that what I said was not offensive today.
Yeah.
I was just speaking some stuff that I thought was true. But also,
Is that the phrase "nick of time"?
in a nick of time?
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it nick like Nick?
In the nick of time, like
I know that saying.
Google that. Is it nick of time or?
The Nick.
Well, there are a lot of things that we say wrong, like spit and image. Or
spitting image.
Spitting image is supposed to be spit and image, but we like said it, mumbled it so long that it eventually became spitting image.
It's just like Southern slang.
You're the
Spitting image.
spitting image.
Hey, but Google that. Is it nick of time? Because what is nick?
It's like the Nick. It's like real short and quick or something.
Like a nick, like on your hand, like you nicked your hand,
Like the
like you cut it. Cut time.
Well, you can cut time. What does it mean?
I really just felt like I
It
just
means you get it.
I feel like I say things wrong so often.
You've had that for a while. Even in high school, I remember you just be like, I feel like I said that wrong. Did I say that wrong?
Well, I sometimes I'll be reading. I was reading Jordan Peterson's book, and I can't remember.
I just
can't
read an
remember-
excerpt of his for class.
Oh, he's fantastic. What class was it? And what excerpt was it?
It was McGee's, and it was for extra.
I want to talk to
it
McGee
was
about
for
him.
extra credit, so I didn't read like. Sorry, Mr. McGee, I didn't read the whole thing.
Oh,
I
damn.
just kind of wrote a paper
Of Jordan
over it.
Peterson?
Yeah, it was a Jordan.
Oh my
Jordan
god!
Peterson.
You should have read the whole thing. I
It
love
was
Jordan Peterson.
It was Rule 7. The
whole rule.
yeah, the whole rule.
Which wait, no, I know what it is. Rule 7. Oh God, what is it? It's
So, may I ask-
Living. Don't do what is meaningful, not what is expedient.
Yes.
Ah, ha, ha.
May I ask, just real fast to close it?
Yeah.
It's become a meme in our theater department,
Hmm.
and every day we're just kind of walking around in the department. It's like, you want to know why I have a lobster on my arm? And we want to know because so like Jordan Peterson is the reason why. Right?
Yeah.
But what is the exact like why is that?
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know the
I've
story.
talked about it before on the podcast, so I'll try to say it quickly. But basically, his first chapter is called "Stand Up Straight with Your Shoulders Back,"
Yes.
and it's like this injunction to be combative with the world and to adopt a sense of ready engagement with the world
Yeah.
and reflect that in your posture. And it's like lobsters, when they win a fight, they will stretch out and take more space, and they're basically signaling the tally of their victory to other lobsters, so other lobsters can see that.
Cool.
And the reverse effect is when a lobster loses a fight, they'll shrink down and look smaller. So it's like their brains run on serotonin the same way that ours do. And so as an effect, certain people or certain antidepressant medications are actually tested on lobsters. And so it's like, it's kind of a few things. So one is like, when you fake a smile, it's supposed to make you feel better. It's like it's supposed to make you take yourself more seriously when you stand up straight with your shoulders back. But it'll also make others take you more seriously when you occupy more space and you're like, this is who I'm going to be. Because that's the thing, is when we look at other people, like, we try to deny it, but it's like it's basic and primordial inside of us that we are sizing other people up and seeing where they fit in the hierarchy. But so many people see hierarchy as just like power and evil tyranny, but that's wrong. That's not correct. It's not about power, but it's about competence, and the stance is about confidence.
Interesting.
And carrying that. And so there's a triangle on the back of it for hierarchy.
That's cool.
And so it's like it's just a reminder to, don't just be like, this little guy's like, you could pour soup in my lap, and I'll
Just be
probably
this guy's like,
apologize
do
to
not
you.
pour soup in my lap.
You just got it's gonna be like, yeah, I'm I don't know.
Yeah, I'm hoping to get a dove right here in a couple months.
Is it gonna be silent?
Everyone says silent dove. It's
a meme in the theater department about my lobster. Do I talk about it too much?
No, it was just, I remember the first day, like, you got it because you were posting on Instagram. You were like, I'm getting a tattoo, and everyone was like, oh, Jackson's getting a tattoo. That's interesting.
Well,
and then we saw it was like, it's a lobster, and we're like, why is it a lobster? Like, we were so confused. And then like we saw your video or live stream, and it was just the way you said it. You were like, so you want to know why there's a lobster on my arm? And then like now
I never try to bring it up. Other people have asked me about it.
Yeah, but like Jordan now, he does the funniest thing where he's like, hey guys. Sorry, I just hit the table again. You want to know why there's a lobster on my arm?
Well, I know that I got this first one. I didn't post about it because I'm not trying to. If people ask about it, I'll tell them. But I'm not trying to flaunt anything. Yeah, but the reason I posted about it was because I didn't realize, like with this one, a lot of people will just say it's cool and move on.
Yeah.
Like, and there's a very deep explanation behind it, but the quick explanation is it's Mr. Rogers' address. This is the nameplate.
Oh, that's cool.
But people normally move on and they don't care that much. But for some reason, and I guess I didn't realize when I was getting it how much of a conversation piece it would be. But after I got it, every single person in my life was like, why do you have a lobster? And they were genuinely baffled and curious. And I was just, it's kind of a long explanation. So I was explaining it to so many people, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to post this. So hopefully people will see it and they'll understand.
When I first heard about it, I thought you just saw the movie The Lobster. And I was
no. Because The Lobster has to do with like, finding a mate or whatever. But that has nothing to do with
that's
the
why
reason
I was so confused. And then I watched The Lobster and I was like, is this why he got his tattoo? And I was like,
someone texted me that. Someone said, did you get it because of the movie?
The Lobster's a weird movie. Lobster's a weird movie, first off.
It's very bizarre,
really weird. All right. Thanks for having me, man.
Oh, yeah. Awesome. Thanks for coming. We should have you again. You can put a little tally next to your name.
Ooh, I'd love to.
Hey, you were the first one in our new podcast studio.
It's a very nice studio, by the way. I know you can't see most of it in here, but like there's a whole other
there's
place.
a gymnasium over there.
That's the smoothie bar.
Yeah.
And then right over there is the supermodel.
Ricardo, refill.
The one supermodel.
Just standing in the corner, ready to...
Which one is it this week?
His name is Rolando. Anyways, yeah, it was good having you on. We should have you on again.
Would love to.
And Jacob, do you know how to end the live stream?
I click end live stream.
All right. Well, we will see you next time.
All right.
Goodbye.
Bye.